Welcome everyone. Welcome to the 10th edition of the Home Theater Hub. We got a full panel of guests here. We got Mr. Ike. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing good. How about you?
We're doing fantastic. You guys have already seen we got Mr. Paul joining us back. We got Mr. John Anthony. And then, can you share my screen there, Mr. Ike?
Yes. Are
Let's
you
see here.
ready? Do we have? I don't
Yeah, give
think
me
we
one
have.
second. Let me pop this up for you.
Yep.
Then we got Mr. Wiggles. Mr. Wiggles is in the house. If you guys don't know who Mr. Wiggles is, Mr. Wiggles is Scottio. He is a fairly new YouTuber. He's been doing YouTube for about a year now. Met Scott at M-Wave, and the main place that we met is, as we all keep mentioning, the Daily Hi-Fi. So Mr. Scott, aka Mr. Wiggles, has
Oh,
definitely made an impact on the YouTube community by hours. Look at this. Mr. Paul is jumped out as a follower in one of his videos. Scott, how you doing today?
Hey guys, thanks. I'm doing great. Wiggles, he just shows up randomly, and it's I guess it's just a fun way for me to play around on YouTube. It's more of a hobby than anything, but slowly it's been developing into a little bit more reviews and everything. And I'm just really happy to be on the show, and thanks for the invite on, guys.
yeah. It's good to have you on. Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely appreciate you joining the fun that we're having here on the Home Theater Hub. As
Oh,
mentioned, the
and
10th. Go ahead.
Don, I really didn't want to disappoint you, so give me 1 second, all right? Just one
Oh,
second.
really? Let me see what we got going on here.
Yeah, I think I have a really good idea.
What do we got going on off camera over here? This
Holy
this was
smokes!
unscripted, by the way. I put all this together without Scottio knowing. So we're gonna see what we got going on here. I have a funny feeling we're gonna have a special appearance. There it
Yeah,
is.
Wiggles, he's got
Mr.
to show up once in a while. And what more to Joy Audio than a little PBR hanging out with the guys, right?
Very good,
Very
Mr.
good.
Wiggles. Thank you for joining the show.
Yeah, I got to go take a leak. So, I'll be back later maybe.
All right, definitely. We look forward to you coming back.
You know what? To that, I only have to say this. Oh, yeah.
All right, bring the panel back up, Mister Ike. So
Uh,
since Scott has inspired Paul, I figured Paul has inspired me with the white hair. So I'll go ahead and wear my white hair also.
I gotta say, you look.
nice, Don.
If I had to choose, I would date you over the two of us.
I have a feeling like if the three of us dressed up like that and went out for the night, we would be kicked out of a whole lot of places.
I would have to be
or
good and drunk.
invited to a lot of after parties.
You
Yes.
would
That's
go to a lot
usually
of
how
after
it goes.
parties. Definitely.
I feel like Ike and I are missing out. We didn't bring a Wix tonight.
Ah,
What happened?
next
Didn't
time, man.
included
Next
us
time. You
next
didn't get the
month.
memo, I guess.
At least you
Yeah, I
have
did.
one. You just didn't bring it. I don't have any.
I got plenty in my closet
I have mine in the basement, and
in the
it's
basement.
it literally describes
Along
me.
with the ball gag.
Yeah, it's right next to it. Yeah,
Hopefully,
close.
it's on a mannequin.
Oh man, we started off on the left.
No,
foot
man,
again.
you
Here
gotta
we
go.
go,
You
here
gotta
we
go
go.
with the real doll. You can't
Oh,
get any of
no.
that fake stuff.
Well, look, man, Scott, appreciate you being on. You definitely brought some laughter to the show so far.
I appreciate it.
I really enjoy the take that you have. I still got hair hanging off here. I really enjoy the take that you have on all your videos. If you guys haven't subscribed to Scott's channel, it's SC Audio, Scaudio, basically. So check that out. Right now he's got about 97 subs, so he definitely needs some help. And he's got about 28 videos up there. So make sure that you guys go over to his channel and subscribe. Like I said, just a fun take on audio. Really enjoying some of the stuff that he's doing and did. Speaking of that, Scott, you had a video pretty recently about IAMF. It's not I am a MFer, but what is IMAF?
So if you look at like the world of spatial audio, right? This is like a packaging, how the audio is packaged in there, and how when the audio is played back, it gets broken apart and provides you with that spatial surround sound audio. So the cool thing about IMF is that it's not behind a paywall. It's not licensed software. It's open source. So anyone that wants to develop anything with spatial or surround sound audio can use this IMF bundle and basically package their audio into it and deliver it to a device. Now that device will need to be able to decode and understand how to separate the audio into the different layers, the height layers, side, surround sound, things like that.
Right.
So it's still very early on, but it has potential. It's kind of like the HDR versus the Dolby Vision, right? HDR is more of an open source format, and you kind of have this battle going back and forth. Whether IMF will displace someone like Dolby Atmos, that's to be seen, I guess. We don't know where it's going to go. It's backed by two really major players. You see Samsung backing them and Google's backing them. So it could be something to watch out for in the future. Maybe we'll see it in some hardware. Maybe, who knows? Maybe receivers will start implementing some of that as well.
So to
And
be
I'm
clear,
not
that's just a
100%
different
sure on
container.
what's that?
To be clear, that's just a different container that they're putting the audio in, correct?
So you have your codec, right? Which could be like
Mhm.
MP3, AAC, the different types of codecs. And then you put that inside of what's called a container. And that container has like the different instruction sets to tell the audio where to go and how it should be played back. Another interesting part of the layer that they're building into this bundle is that it also has AI capabilities built into it. And so with the AI capabilities, it's supposed to be able to read what is going to be playing through you, like say your HDMI, what's on screen, and be able to interpret what you've seen on screen to deliver it to the proper location within your environment, whether it's headphones or in your room. Oops.
So we're talking about a different form of spatial audio other than Dolby Atmos or DTSX Pro, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So, hey, that's very interesting, and it's right now it's in a free form.
It's a free form, and good luck trying to play it right now. That's all I can say.
Well,
You have to
how
be
did you
really
stumble
geeked out.
across that?
Well, I'm in the technology industry, so I'm always looking for like bleeding edge things. And being an audio geek, that kind of just follows my normal search patterns. Sometimes I get provided information that I would not normally see. Google has the algorithm, right? And all of a sudden, hey, you might be interested in this.
Right.
So I think it was just a mixture of just my search pattern history and being fed some additional news that I wouldn't normally get or what the average person wouldn't get.
I see. So what you said you're in the industry. What do you do as far as like? I mean, you don't have to go into specifics, but what do you do? You said you do programming and stuff like that, correct? Or in the industry,
I'm a computer engineer.
computer engineer. Okay, very
Yep.
good. So,
Yep.
what type of projects are you working on currently? Are you working on anything audio related or anything anything that would streamline any services or anything like that?
Well, kind of an interesting project that I've been working on, and Paul's been aware of that, I've been fighting to get Make MKV to run inside what's called a container. It's almost like virtualized on an Android operating system. So devices like Zedo or maybe a Zapedi, you'd be able to plug your Blu-ray ROM into it, drop the disc in, and just have it dump the disc right and back it up automatically without having to touch anything. So that's been my current project. Success sometimes. It's pretty flaky. I don't think anyone will want to use it except for, myself at this time. But
Right.
it is working. And I do have a fairly stable version working with what's called a virtual machine inside of a QNAP, and that works pretty much all the time. But it's really not user friendly, and I want to design and make something where people can go into, say they have a QNAP, they can click a couple buttons, plug the USB port of their Blu-ray reader into the back of the QNAP, and rip their movie collection directly to it. So that's kind of the project I've been playing around with. It's been slow. I've been extremely busy with my day-to-day job. So hopefully I'll be able to allocate some time when things slow down again.
Sounds
I
like
use
something
Make MKV,
Paul
but
would be interested in.
I do use Make MKV myself, but just in case some of our audience doesn't know what program that is, can you go a little bit into detail of what exactly is Make MKV?
So Make MKV is a software application that's designed for you to be able to back up your Blu-ray or DVD collection. You can run it on a Windows machine. You can run it on a Mac. It has a freemium model right now. They're kind of in beta. They've been in beta forever, so you can keep utilizing it on a month-to-month basis as long as you get what's called a new key. But basically, you install the software on your system. You would use something like an external Blu-ray reader. You need a specific one, and sometimes they need to be flashed in order for them to read your 4K Blu-ray discs. You pop it in that. You have the ability to do like a full backup, so you can like preserve a copy in case anything happens to your media or your disc. You will always have a copy of that disc. And then you also have the ability to convert it into what's called an MKV, which is basically more of a file format, a single file versus a whole backup of the entire disk. You can remove a lot of the extra features.
And for people that don't know, what's the difference between like an ISO and an MKV? What's the advantage or disadvantage of those two formats?
The only real big advantage between the ISO and the MKV format is the ISO, if you do a full backup and you have the ISO, you have all the features, the menuing that you would normally get when you drop a disc into your like traditional Blu-ray player. An MKV, you can strip it down and reduce the file size. You can get rid of the menus. You can get rid of extra languages. You can get rid of like audio. Say it has an audio track that's Dolby Digital Plus, but you only want True HD on it. You have the option to remove some of those items, make the file size a bit smaller. Also, MKV is a lot more playable than you would find an ISO rip or a backup of your Blu-ray. You need a specific devices. Zdu's one of them. It can read an ISO file without a problem, and it can play it. And it'll also give you the option to start at the movie or run through the menuing system. For an MKV, you can run it on a Shield. You can run it on all kinds of different devices. Plex reads MKV, so if you have a Plex server and you're serving
I think
media
even TVs
devices,
like have the
even
ability to
DV,
play
yeah,
an
TVs.
MKV from a USB stick.
Mhm.
It's a universal compression file.
But an
compression.
MKV file, you can still preserve the menu option too. So it's pretty much you can make it as if it's almost like an exact rip of a disc, like you're putting it in and you play it and you have all of the menu options available for you, correct?
So that
No.
actually comes as a BDMV file when you
Yeah,
do that.
that's
Do that way.
BDMV.
BDMV.
So yeah, that's BDMV. So BDMV is basically what is inside an ISO. ISO is like
It's like a picture.
it's the saran wrap or the Ziploc bag, right? And then when you open it, you have all your stuff inside of there.
So it's basically the wrapper, right?
Yeah, and then when you take that out, you have all the BDMV. But MKV is what that's doing is it's taking everything, because there's thousands of little. It's not a database, but it's
like a
easier to
catalog.
explain that way. Yeah, it's a catalog.
or index
Hey,
card of what's in
Yeah,
there.
there you go. It's an index card file structure. and there's tons of little files in there. MKV, all it's doing is saying, oh, I need file 1, 10, 20, 2000, 4000, and just combining them together.
Breaking them down. Yep.
So in MKV, you have 0 features, 0 options. It's just a file that is more easily read because it's a standard file format. It's kind of like JPEG versus PNG type of deal. It's like, yeah, one's just as good as the other, versus like a RAW. Like if you're in photography, RAW would be like the BDMV. JPEG
Right.
would be the MKV.
MKV.
And then you may have something completely different, proprietary, like in Apple, they do, I don't know what weird, silly format they use. That would be like the ISO. It's like, oh, that's their little container wrapper that you have to say, no, change that to friggin' JPEG. I don't want just it just to work on Apple. Dang it.
Yeah, I
So-
watched that video of the IAMF. Sorry, IAMF. I watched the video on that, and that was a very interesting topic because I definitely didn't. I've not heard of that concept yet, and there's been a lot of talks about what Kodak's going to replace Dolby and what's going to be the next up and coming thing, So as these new containers come out, are they going to be small enough that it could send lossless audio, over the internet? A lot of if that happens, a lot of companies will definitely reap the benefit of that because there's nothing right now that it's not compressing your video and audio when streaming. So do you know if they're actually working on lossless or to be able to stream?
I believe I would have to look. So when I created that video, I'm not gonna lie, it was rushed out. I got the news. I thought it was really cool. I gathered as much information as I could
Right.
about it. And so I'm still doing some research on it. I actually am thinking about doing another video soon. I have a few more documents, and I reached out to a couple of the software engineers on that side, and they would like to have like a quick discussion and kind of break things down and explain it a little bit better. Reading what they have online is kind of just like, holy crap, where
Right,
are
right.
we? What are you guys doing? But as far as like, so the container holds the codecs, right? And so
Mhm.
from my understanding, any new advances in like streaming audio and being uncompressed are like a better format, whether it's FLAC or MP3, those are like the compression formats. The container just puts those inside. So those are
Okay.
inside the container. So there's a couple new formats that are very promising that save on bandwidth, but bandwidth is getting cheap, right? Every couple of years, we're getting higher bandwidth limits. So how much that really matters in the future, I don't know. Maybe they'll just be like,
Well,
forget it. We don't need to compress at all at this point. But
yeah.
at the
So
same
there's
time,
still some
the
people like
providers
in the
saving.
rural areas that actually are still using satellite internet. They don't have wires run. They don't have fiber optic ran. So I think until we get the majority of the United States set up on a fiber, I think it's going to be, gosh, the internet's been out for what, 30 years now, 20 years, something like that. So, and there's still people that have to use, either DSL or, a satellite type of internet. So until they figure out,
Satellites improved too. Starlink 3 is out
Starlink is
now.
available
It,
now.
it has 200. Well, now they're on their 3rd iteration of the satellite, and you can get 200 megs up and 30 to 40 megs down, which doesn't sound like a lot,
But
but
it's
man,
good. It's good
40
enough.
megs, 40
good
megs
enough
down.
to stream.
That's higher than any streaming service at this
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I think we're moving there pretty quickly, especially for the
Yeah.
rural areas. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people on dial-up, and still at this day. And we're
DSL, yeah.
country lagging behind
Well,
many
yeah.
other
What
countries.
Wi-Fi 7 or
We'll see some.
whatever you
You've
call
got
it.
mail.
I still, yep.
Hey, it's still better than that AOL dial-up.
You know what's pretty funny? So the other day we were back in Michigan visiting our families in Michigan, and my daughter for the first time heard a busy tone. She had never heard a busy tone, and it never crossed my mind that you don't really get a busy tone anymore. And I'm like,
Yeah, because
wow.
everybody's got call waiting.
She's like, what is this? What is this?
That's so funny.
hilarious.
I
So
saw
it's
a TikTok.
broke. The internet's down.
I saw a TikTok of a family that gave their children a rotary phone and told them if they figured out how to dial it, they'd give them $100. You know, so
Wow.
What is the other thing they say to do? Oh, ask them to pretend like they're on the phone and they go like this instead of like this.
Like this.
yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, or like this, they said.
Yeah, talk
Yeah.
talk right into it
That's
like
funny.
like you're
Yeah.
holding a microphone. Yeah. So
Nowadays it's like this. What?
that is true. Everybody's on their Apple Watch
The
talking.
Dick
too.
Tra-
I
the
don't-
Dick Tracy watch, man. Heck yeah, we all
Yeah.
got them now.
not
know.
me.
And they work pretty good. I have an older, well, 2 generations old, 7th gen, and man, you can hear pretty well out of that thing. Like you can carry on a legit conversation with your watch.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
man, who would have thought?
It just feels weird man, walking around.
You feel like you're a
Yeah,
Knight
it's
Rider.
like, hey, what's up, man?
Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
That's what's amazing. You can just go about your normal whatever you're doing, and you can just
Right.
relax.
You can have your
But
arms. You can
we're
have your arms on your side.
Yep, and it works perfectly fine. But the problem is we're so used to being like, you know,
Right.
that's
Screaming at
human
that mic.
behavior. But it is so good now. Like the one I have, and I don't wear it that often. I could be sitting just like this and be like, yeah, whatever. But we're so used to, I got to pay attention. I've got to. So you literally are like, oh yeah. I mean, I still do it, even though I've tested it. And arms to the side, and it's I can hear you. I don't hear any difference, and I'm like, I'm still like this though.
Fred said that he's talking to Kit, Knight Rider. So thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you for joining, everyone. Thank you, Patrick, Fred, Chuck. Appreciate you guys joining and showing the support for the show. Really appreciate that.
I want to know why did you like ban Fred for talking too much?
You know what? I actually reached out to Fred. I actually reached out to Fred the other day because I hadn't seen him on the after show on the Daily Hi-Fi, and then he hadn't. I hadn't talked to him for a couple weeks, and I know everybody gets busy with the holidays and everything else like that. And he came up with some bogus excuse that he actually had to work. So
you know what was he was on vacation spending that Kaleidoscape money on some trip. That's what he was doing when he could have got his Kaleidoscape that he's gonna get.
No, Fred told me that he's been super busy with work. He said someone retired from his job and he's had to pick up the brunt of that load. So I did reach out to him just to make sure he was doing okay. And he also mentioned to me, say, hey, I'm not buying any new equipment, so I don't really have anything to contribute. But as we started talking, he tells me, I bought this CD and it was just amazing. I said, Fred, there's your content right there. We're not asking for you to be here, buying new stuff every week. That's not what this is about. It's about us, getting together, just BSing and showing off what we did week to week, or what sparked our interest. Speaking of that, I had another Christmas present come in.
No, what do you got? What do you got?
Oh yeah,
nice.
That's nice.
Very cool.
See,
So
now he's cheating. See,
Now
that's
he's
what happens. Don's a lightweight, so instead of saying the word,
The word.
he's
He's
just
like,
gonna
I was
flop
just
up
about
that
to say,
little.
don't say the word. I don't want to drink.
I
Yeah.
never said it. Never
We don't
said
want-
it
There's-
once.
he's worried because there's too many of us that are going to give him a hard time about it.
So this is the other one. I got two of them that came in. So
Oh, you
Uh,
can say that. That's
Well,
funny.
see now that one. Are you sure they spelled that right? I think it starts with an R.
our evolution.
Evolution?
No, man, I got
Evolution.
Yeah,
like this.
like
This
that
is
doesn't
this is
even
the
count,
founder,
man.
man. I gotta.
Yeah.
I'm not changing. You know, I can run the our
Oh,
evolution.
come
app.
on now.
I'm not changing. So, but yeah. So those came in over the over the over the weekend. Excuse me. Well, I guess it came in. Yeah, like Saturday or something like that.
Well, that's cool.
So,
So
it was.
now, sorry, I have to. Now you just need a theater to actually put them.
Well,
To use all those things, right?
hey, I can hang them outside of the theater all
Yep.
day long, right?
Yeah, as soon as you get one, I mean, equipment in a closet doesn't, you have $1 million worth of equipment in a closet doesn't make a theater.
He's just gonna hang them in the garage and then move
All right.
them.
So since
in
you said that,
2025.
I'm going to share my screen here, Mr. Ike. Go ahead and
Yep.
share the screen here so I can show, so I can put some, because I can tell you what, Miguel is not beating me. Okay.
Oh, I just got an estimate. He will be done with his entire house and his theater in April.
That's what happens when
Wow.
you pay somebody to build your house and do it for you, right? So
I don't see your screen share coming through.
okay, I'm coming right now. It's coming up.
And actually, he's paying someone to do the foundation and stuff, but no, him and his family are doing the theater and a lot of the internals of the house.
Hey, I'm just having fun with Miguel. Congratulations on the new home. Congratulations on the.
I know.
on the theater.
He actually has to build a Paul wing, on the west side, so I can come visit. Oh wow, you
So-
got a. Oh, that's
So it is official.
Looking
I have a
good.
ceiling
Look at that.
now.
Ceilings
Wow.
are good.
I have a
Yeah,
ceiling.
that's a good start.
Double
That's
drywall. This is the pattern that I'm looking to do for LED on the walls. These are the
Nice.
seats.
Looks
So-
like you're goofing off, Don.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
That-
wonder
that's-
it's not done.
But,
He's out there.
that's how I build
hanging
stuff,
out.
okay?
Oh,
I'm just gonna
It-
fly through a couple of these.
no
real quick.
offense, but if it'll hold Don, I'm sure it's pretty stout.
So there we go. So that's a side view of.
That's quite a lot of work. So you did now. What was the purpose of the? You're just doing like the tray ceiling for what? Just for
Yeah.
aesthetics.
So what I'm doing there is that soffit is that tray ceiling is 22 inches wide, and then I'm putting a double drywall, double layer of drywall. That's what this is. It's green glue. I took a pic. Just happened to snap a picture, but I'm putting double 5/8 in this area up here, and then what that leaves is this board here is 24 inches, so it leaves about an inch to an inch and a half gap. Or an inch and a half overhang from the tray, and that's what my rope lighting is going to sit on. So my LEDs to be able to up fire towards the ceiling. So and then it makes a stronger corner too.
mhm.
So yeah, so that's my progress. It took me 2 days to hang this ceiling, double dry rock, double
that's
wall.
not bad. Yeah, man, you're cooking.
So double rock, green glue in between, cut out all the holes, put double rock on the bottom, and then trim around those areas. And that was Gene's or John Anthony's theater there. I just happened to.
Mhm. Are you
So
planning
John
to cover your window? For the
Yeah,
windows,
so
are you
we're
planning to cover it?
yeah, so I'm going to make a plug, but I want the plug on hinges. So I want it to be able to open it up and still have some daylight and Super Bowl party or football, have people over for football games and stuff. I don't want it to be totally black, and my theater's not going to be totally black. It's like like you guys saw on those pictures. My chairs are going to be the cream color. I'm probably going to go with a darker carpet with maybe a dark brown or a blackish with something to kind of highlight and match. And then my walls are going to be fabricked black and probably black and like a cream color also. I'll have to. I'm going to have to consult Paul for the official interior design because he did a hell of a job with his barcade. So
Yep.
I'm going to have to pull up his services and
It's
see
a
what he
weird,
run
it's
some
an
ideas about him.
artistic, yeah, it's an artistic balance, I think. Now, obviously, you couldn't tell from my background here, but if I'm on here for much longer, I'll go ahead and make my actual vlog or whatever you call this backdrop look aesthetically pleasing.
I was watching the
But
show the other day and I saw your barcade. It looks awesome, Paul. For someone that's designing something that, like, what are some of the things that you would do differently, or what are some of the things that you think you should have done that you didn't do? And what are like some of the most successful part? I know you threw a party in there. Like, where did the people like gather? Was there like a central point where they really like were like sucked into it? It's an amazing spot. I mean, the
well, and
tables,
that's
the arcade
yeah.
machines, the
So
lighting. It looks great.
at this point, there's a couple things that I didn't finish. I wanted to actually do a legitimate like soft tip dart board to where people could play darts. But for the most part, that space that I have at this point, there's really nothing. Well, actually, I've already upgraded. And so I guess I could take that back. For the most part, everything, especially party wise and entertainment wise, there was nothing I would have changed. There was people playing games. There was people on the infinity table. There were people drinking beer, hanging out at the bar. There were people watching the New Year's Eve drop on the OLED because we just kept that in the background with the sound off. There was people in what basically is now my dining room, but it was my breakfast nook, but it's like really large. You could fit an 8-person table in there. So I just was like, if I need a bigger table, I'll just put it here, but I don't. For me and Jessica, it's 4-seat table is more than enough, and we can always bring other chairs. So, and then I have a 3-person bar. Everybody was all over the place. People were playing Jackbox on the projector. People were in the dining room or breakfast area chatting. People were just hanging out at the bar, not even paying attention to the projector that was behind them. But as far as the design of the barcade, the only thing that I did so far was the couch that we used was just an older couch. It was more like a kid-sized couch. And since that is now kind of my second living room, like instead of watching YouTube on the projector or whatever, I'll go in there. But it became really uncomfortable. So I went ahead and got some fancy, recliners with headrest and stuff like that. But that was hard to find because that space is hard to design for, because even though it's pretty large, once you start putting games and then seats on the left and the right, it
Recliners. Yeah, they got to
shrinks
kick
really, really quick.
It's
So
down quick. Yep.
I had found a love seat that's literally, the arms are really narrow. It's only 58 inches, which is essentially was the same size as that little mini couch I had, and their power recline. So for the most part, that works perfect, and it's way more comfortable. Where before it was like, man, I still have to go back to the theater. I can't sit in this blue couch for more than like 30, 40 minutes. But now it's like, I get a blanket. I'm not,
You're knocked out in there.
I debated on the fireplace with the LED because since one of the walls is a complete open window glass behind the curtains, that's all glass,
Right.
which I didn't show, but that's just gigantic window. The entire length of that, it's not even an oversized blind or curtain. A lot of people will do oversized curtains to make it look bigger and fancier. That's just barely covering the the window, so it gets a little colder because it's just there's only so much you can do with double, triple pane windows.
Yeah.
So
I have one more question on it, Paul. Is it durable? Because there's a few of us that are going to be down in your way this spring for
Oh
Amway
yeah,
event,
yeah, no,
You get a little
it'll
bit rough and
it'll
rowdy.
hand up.
You get
Let's put it this
Wiggles.
way.
You can't contain
And-
Wiggles, man.
I'm a I want the best bang for my buck, right? I don't need something. I love experiences. I love to experience new things, people, everything. But I don't want to have to pay extra just to say, oh, well, I hung out with Scott while he was wearing, his, fancy.
Well, I thought
Rolex.
you already paid for your actor friends that came over during New Year's.
Yeah. Oh,
Paul-
man.
Oh, wow.
Paul's a great entertainer. He when we
Yeah,
were there
yeah.
at M-Wave, he definitely took the entertainment
was-
wing and just took us around and showed us
Yeah.
around.
But
Just a
so
great-
it's a nice way
Took
of
us to
saying I'm a
places to
cheap
eat. It was awesome.
I'm a cheap bastard. But when I mounted the bar and stuff like that, at first I went and I was looking at some L brackets. I was like, oh, those will work perfect. And they were like $10 a piece, which doesn't sound like a lot, but with the way that I mounted it, and I needed like 8 of them, I was like, God damn, that's like $80 fucking dollars. It's like just for friggin'
Right.
L brackets that you won't even see. But so I was like, okay, let me go see if I can find something cheaper or whatever. And I needed them pretty long because the bar is it's a foot deep. So
Right.
I mean, you can.
You need something
I
sturdy
haven't
too,
tried this.
because people are going to be leaning on it too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. Now I haven't stood on it, but probably you could. You could probably stand on it.
So what you're telling me is you didn't hang from it like I did on my.
I
on
hung
my
from the
projector.
L bracket. I hung from the L bracket, but I did not hang from the bar after the L brackets on it. So I know the L brackets are capable.
And no
'cause I
one, no one during your party walked across the top of the bar.
Some things I keep to
the
myself.
hell
You
kind
didn't
of
have any
party are you
coyote
throwing?
ugly going?
No one on the tables.
But
All of that happens.
let's
in
just
the
say if
basement.
you see someone's name written higher than you can stand, you know why on the chalkboard wall.
It happens in the basement. There's enough space for it.
Yeah, there's a whole basement for all that stuff. But yeah, so I ended up, it's so funny because I thought, oh man, that's really expensive. And then I went to get chintzier, like each one of these L brackets probably weighs like 7 pounds. I mean, they're heavy duty, right? And you have to put like lag bolts into your studs. And I went to go look at other shelving. I was like, well, let me just go look at shelving stuff. You get a little piece of ornamental stuff on there. It was like $15-$20 a piece. I was like, oh shit, I'm going back to what I used, you're really supposed to use to mount a marble slab top. So these things they're made to hold tons of weight. The only thing is the glue, if you glue marble, it's going to stay because stone's not going to break. But I glued, just pine. So the pine wood may split, but that's literally you breaking, so that's why
if they're spread far apart enough, it may split. Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, just the sheer force from, hanging off of it. I don't think I will knock on
So
wood.
Don, you're not allowed to hang on it. Okay.
Yeah. Don's not allowed to hang on it. Yeah.
Well, hopefully by the time I see you, I shed a few pounds. I'm thinking about.
Okay. There you go. Then
going
I
on
might
up.
allow you to. If you're hanging on the bar, I will. That will be a picture. Oh man.
So that's one of your updates for your area. Ike, what you got going on over there in your theater?
Yeah, still trying to find a 5-channel amplifier to buy. But the last of my bed layer speakers came in today, so I will be installing that tomorrow and ending up with a 946 setup, which is something that I've always wanted. So I
You're
think
gonna
in
have to let
terms
me
of
That's
know
just
awesome.
how that .6 works. I'm really because
Yeah.
I've been thinking about upgrading to that stupid Fred processor. That's what I'm gonna call it.
yeah,
You
Oh
know,
the
no.
but
10.
The
I
AV, the
don't think I'm
AV10.
going to. I'm not even saying what it is. It's a stupid Fred processor. That's the
Oh
name of
boy.
it.
Hey, I know somebody. Okay, just let me
Don't
know.
walk away from
Yeah.
Yamaha,
I
man.
didn't know Yamaha
Yamaha
made
is
one
going
with
to
that
come
many
out.
channels.
Yamaha is going
Yeah,
to come
well,
out with
that's
a
why I don't
processor.
have one with that many channels right now because they don't.
Like, you got
You mean you're
just
gonna give
hang
up
on
your
in
Y,
there.
pal?
You're gonna
No,
miss
it's gonna.
Wipeout, man.
He's gonna
You're gonna
no
have to
no.
tell
Here's what's gonna
me.
happen.
Yeah.
He's gonna buy the AV10, and then he's gonna run it through his the final product through the Y, pal.
I'm gonna buy
Just keep
commercial
tuning.
Yamaha, audio processing and be like, oh, finally, it sounds good again.
Oh, you're gonna buy
I
buy
mean,
a
that is
trainer.
one
You're
of the
gonna buy a trainer
challenges,
and
right?
replace the
Well,
software with a Wipeout.
as much as people can hate on Yamaha, it's the only company that makes instruments and actual performance, live performing gear when
Huh?
you're talking,
You forgot about
mer-
Steinway Lindorf?
yeah. Well,
Well, that's a different class.
okay,
Come on
you
now.
got the Lindorf, but Lindorf isn't. They don't make their own processor. Isn't that made by another?
No, that's well, Steinway is the one that
Well,
makes it, and
they
then
merged, right? So
yeah,
Hmm.
Oh,
yep,
okay.
yep.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah,
other.
no,
Yeah,
but
that's the other
to
one.
your point
Yeah,
though,
Steinway,
Yamaha is rock
obviously. Yeah.
solid, man. I mean, everybody, when I first started getting into this hobby, that's what everybody recommended. Like when I was
It's one
looking
of
at big
those.
boy processors and stuff
If
like
you
that,
want a
like
lot of the features and stuff like that, well, everybody makes fun of the Wipeout or Yamaha that they have all their, DSP things that they just left in there, right? Which
right.
nobody uses. So discounting that, it doesn't have a lot of the fancy features and a lot of things that the other brands have. But now if you get the Japanese models, right? I mean, if you buy the the other, you know, manufactured and assembled ones, I mean, they're just like anything else. But
Yeah.
you
So
get
it'll
one
be a
that's
new
made that
challenge for
says
you.
made in Japan. That thing will last forever. So
Yeah, when I
It'll
first
be a new
started looking, I
challenge
started
with
calling around and getting estimates. This was back at my house back in Tallahassee, and I wound up buying a Denon 6300. But everybody was literally recommending Yamaha just because of the stability of it, and there were no bugs really, and
yeah,
I don't know
you
what
take
I
out
can't
all the
remember what.
features, you take out
Hmm.
the possibility of
Mhm.
problems, right?
yeah,
But
but how
Yeah,
frequently do
I
you get
came from a
updates?
Denon as well. I came from a Denon as well.
How frequently do you get updates still?
Who, me?
Yeah.
More than I'm willing to update. I got a pending update on it right now still, and I just updated it probably 4 or 5 months ago. And I'm like, nope, because and a lot of the things, even with the Yamaha, like if they lose a license to something, like I think there used to be one of the broadcasting, and I'm just making this up, so this isn't true, but let's just say it had Spotify. Well, now it no longer has Spotify, type of deal. And that's not what it is, but there was something, I didn't ever use it, but it was like, oh, wait. Oh, wow. So they took that out. So they probably
oh
lost
wow.
some licensing
wow.
agreement. Yeah, with some of the
Now,
integrations that they have.
now, is your receiver end of life, or is it still under support?
I think
Your
it's
yeah.
still under support. Yeah, because it's the
Okay.
whatever the highest end processor only that they have, whatever that is. I forget what model
Okay.
it is. The 5200, and I want if they make a new one, I'll get that. But it's not a high demand. It's a very they only cycle them every 5 years, even from them. I think at most. they'll do like the processors, like the 30 or the 3000 series, 3070 or whatever they'll do every couple years. But they usually lag behind of the other manufacturers when it comes to some of those. Because like you said, they don't build them for the newest, latest features, because a lot of times they won't even have it in there. They'll just like, okay, we're going to build another product. You're going to buy this. It's going to last forever. If a new feature comes out, we'll add it. But, it still has, mine has like 4 zones in the damn thing that I don't use,
Right.
It's one of those
Right.
things.
Yeah, I noticed with Denon, like I have a 4700, right? And as soon as the 48 came out, it seemed like I was frequently getting updates on the 47, but now that the 48 is out, I haven't seen
Yeah.
one, I don't think, since they released it. So
And,
I don't
and
know
Yamaha would
if
probably
they
do
just
the
drop
same
it off,
thing.
or
Yeah, if they
maybe they got
yeah,
it to a stable enough point where they're just like, all right, we're
don't
good
break
here.
it. If it ain't broken, don't fix
Right,
it.
we don't want to support
Yeah,
it still. Like,
and
we
I'm
don't want to
sure
send a
Yamaha
firmware
would do the
update
same
that's
thing.
gonna break
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they don't have
Yep.
a direct replacement for just their pure processor. Otherwise, I think all manufacturers do that, because you only have so much technical resources to spend, and no one wants to spend
Right.
that on older gear that, hey, the manufacturers have already sold all their units. It's just sellers, and they don't make any more money off of, helping the sellers be able to, like, you're not going to add Oro to my processor that's, 4 or 5 years old. It's like, okay, I may sell one more unit, but I've already sold the unit. I'm not making any more money off of it. So,
Exactly.
it's as a customer, you think one way; as a manufacturer, or produce, you think it's another way.
That's one thing.
I mean, it makes sense.
I
Yeah, and
yeah,
it's going to
that's
cost the
one. Look,
entire
I know that's
tech
marketing and
industry.
stuff, right? But when you have a company, okay, we all know that Trenoff is an expensive piece of equipment, right? It's whatever it is, $15,000-$16,000. But when you have them constantly pushing updates, and you have them uh, expanding 4 channels for you, right? It went from the Altitude 16 to, if you bought a separate DAC, that it could now support 20 channels, right? So when you have a company doing that, and you think about the way that Denon and Marantz is turning over new receivers just about every year now, right? Think of all the money that you're spending on those models versus, yeah, I know that it's a lot cheaper up front, but if you continue to upgrade every couple years versus what Trenoff has right now, I think they've been operating for what, almost
7 years now.
7,
Yep.
8 years, something like that, right? So I mean, if you think about the benefits, yeah, you buy once and you cry once, but they're constantly, um, they're constantly, upgrading their software, upgrading, um, giving you the option to upgrade hardware. And then, the other thing that I like about this company is that they support all their old devices, all the way back to the vault, to where you used to stick your disc in, and all those discs, all those older devices that they have, they actually work in tandem with all the new devices still. So they're all backwards compatible, so is it worth it to go ahead and just spend the money now, or do you constantly upgrade and chase year after year?
I mean, I think it depends on where you are at your home theater journey, right? So
Yep.
if you're just starting your home theater journey, I mean, I feel like there are other things you should
I have
invest
so
in.
many opinions on that.
There are other things you should invest in before you
Exactly.
get to those products, right? I mean, if you're just starting off, if you get a Trinov as your first amplifier, that will be really great. But if you're just starting off and you don't have all that money saved up somewhere, then buy other stuff, and then maybe somewhere down the line you might get to it. So
Right.
If you have the money sitting somewhere, then yes, that's as easy as whatever.
I think there's a couple processors out there that are modular, and John Anthony, I think you got one of them, the HTP
Yep.
one, right?
Yes, and but the thing is, like they mentioned it's modular, but most people don't upgrade the module. Like imagine the Emotiva, the one that you can expand to 20
Yeah,
channels, and they promised that
they
like
promised
five
that like
years
2 years
ago.
ago or 10 years
Yeah,
ago or whatever.
but
It's
it,
still
it
not.
never came into fruition at all. So that's the risk you take also with these modular devices. In my opinion,
Right.
they promise that it'll come out in 1 or 2 years, but then something else happened and it never happened at all. Same with the HTTP one. I mean that's my processor and I love that processor, but they mentioned about upgrading the HDMI board to a 2.1 HDMI board, but now there are talk that they are coming out with the next generation processor that would include the HDMI board. But I don't know about the original HTTP one. If it's gonna, if, are we gonna be able to upgrade it or not? That has been
So hopefully
mentioned
they
yet.
do like Lindorf did, because I actually
Hmm.
have an older. Well, it's the MP60, and it's 16 channel. And when 2.1 came out, they gave you the option to send it back and add the 2.1 board in, right? But they're also selling newer versions with 2.1 built in,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah,
hopefully they'll do the
Anthem
same for the
did the same
HDP
thing, right?
one. You know,
Anthem did the same thing, but I mean, everything else has to work right because sometimes just replacing the HDMI 2.1 chip might not just work 100%, right? You might need to
Correct.
replace a power brick. You might need to replace something else in order for it to work effectively,
hmm
So that was kind of why I went with the Anthem because I really wanted to get the HTP one because I have a monolith. My entire home theater is monolith. I wanted to go with it, but it's like I want HDMI 2.1,
Hmm.
and I looked at it like a long term investment. These days, long term means 2 3 years investment, unfortunately. But I was like, there's no updates, there's no news out there. It's like,
Hmm.
it's almost like, okay, is it gonna happen or not? So it's like, yeah, I'm not willing to take a chance on something that might not happen.
Right,
So
exactly. Yeah. So I mean,
There,
it's
there's
just
there's
a
some
topic for debate.
guarantees. Some guarantees in technology. If it's if they say the word temporary, that means it's permanent. If they say it'll be a future upgrade, that means future will never come. That's guaranteed. And
Yeah.
except for the exclusion of
Hmm.
bad press. If it comes to the point to where it hurts their pockets so much,
yeah,
Hmm.
but whenever they force that out, generally it's, oh, we're going to get everybody to say, oh, we finally did this, but it's going to be so horrible. It's because it's like, oh well, let's just get it out there. Make the icon show that everybody wants. But
You know,
as
one of the two promises that I'm only one or two promises that I'm aware of that actually came to fruition was when the Denon announced that they're going to bring Dirac, or Denon and Marantz, right? Sound
Hmm.
United announced that if you buy this receiver processor now, that we're going to be bringing Dirac. So, and that actually came to fruition. And then then also um, the some of the TVs that I believe it was an LG TV. A lot of these TVs promised the variable refresh rate, right? But it took them almost a year and a half to get it, but it finally did come to fruition.
but
I
but,
can't
but it
remember
took
the
it took a
actual
lot of them
T.
getting called out, right? I remember
Yeah,
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 Ferro
that's
and
I
Co
think
had
that
to
was more
call them
bad
out.
press
It was the
scenario
bad
where it's,
press
Hmm.
that
oh hey,
Paul
this other
referred to.
brand came out with one that already has this in it. So they were like, oh no, we have to do it
Yeah,
now, or we'll
right,
lose all our customers. That's
yeah.
different. That's not.
And this
That's
even
like they
happened
were
to me
forced
because
to do that.
when I purchased, because look, I had the option to purchase the the Trinoff, and I had the option to purchase the Lindorf. Both the person that I was buying from was they were a dealer for both, and I had the option to buy the Trinoff at a good price, and I decided because I went to a couple of um, like demo rooms with the Trinoff. I'm not speaking bad about it. It just didn't seem to give me the spatial audio that I was looking for. The separation, and that could have been credit to the showroom or the people that had it in their showroom didn't know how to set it up right or know how to calibrate it properly. But so I went with the Lindorf, and then prior to me doing that, I wrote them an email and said, "Hey, I'm interested in IMAX Enhanced because this is when Sony actually made a big push that they were going to start releasing a bunch of movies in IMAX Enhanced, and I didn't want to be without that Kodak. So I reached out to Lindorf and said, "Hey, is this something you're going to add?" Because they had all the other Kodaks, and of course, I got a message saying yes. And to this day, I still don't think that they've added it. I haven't updated it. I've plugged it in and played with it a little bit, but I haven't looked at the update. So I don't know if they've updated it, but to my knowledge, I don't believe that they have up until this point when I received an email saying that they were going to. Is it a big deal now? No, because there's not a lot of content for it, right? So I thought that there was going to be an explosion of the content, and hopefully they still do come out with it because I know that Disney was talking about doing a lot of the IMAX enhanced stuff now too.
Yeah, and I
So
think when it comes to processors, right, there's not really a lot of competition when it comes to processors. You either have a Trinov, a Lindorf, an SM, HTV1, or the Evotiva. So I don't think they're usually under a lot of pressure to have the next best thing out there, right? Unlike maybe just the receivers, the AVRs, right, where there's just endless brands out there. So you were probably the only one that had called them in a year asking for IMAX enhanced.
Well,
More than likely, yeah, you're probably
Well,
totally
and
right.
So
and
There's
and I
probably
don't
more pressure on soundbar manufacturers than there
I
are
don't
receiver.
know that I guess I agree with that in one point, but you got to remember like Trinov and Storm, those types of processors are also put in like cinemas,
right,
not just home
studios, yeah,
theaters.
Yep.
Yeah.
true.
Other than that, you're literally doing like Meyer sound, and you still have to get some sort of expensive decoder to decode the Dolby Atmos and all that stuff. But
Right,
that's why Trinov, if you were to try to piece it together yourself with all the capabilities, it would be like I could build a NAS with free NAS and do all my own hardware, right? And if I did like a really large, you know, 500 terabyte system, then I would probably get much cheaper. But for something like 8 bay, I'm really only spending like maybe $100 more to just go buy a QNAP. And you know what? That $100 is worth my time. And that's kind of the same thing with the Trinovs, right? If you're
right,
building a 32 channel system, you're going to have to buy a lot of equipment, integrate a lot of stuff, software and hardware, and you may save $5,000. So it's not like, oh, 16 grand. Like by the time you buy all that equipment and get all the software you need combined, you're in $10,000-$12,000 just in
right.
that alone. Where the Trinov, it's all enclosed. But to that, it's like, do you need that? That's where I'm like, unless you have a 30-foot long theater and you have the shittiest room, you're not using the features that those processors can afford you.
Right.
Yeah, sure, it can put a speaker somewhere where, it self
Yeah, it'll
processes
remap.
to where
It'll
it's
remap.
off
the
or whatever. But okay, I could spend $5,000 more dollars, invest in my house, make it better, and when I go to sell my house, it's even better, and buy a $1,200 processor. So there's many ways to look at it, but at the same time, oh man, I always have that. I need to snooze my phone. I have it on do not disturb, but certain alarms. make it
10:30. It's past your bedtime.
Yeah,
I just
it
had the
is
same thing
past my
happen to me.
And
I
But
was
but
head
at
down.
the
mic?
but at the
How
same
does my
time,
mic sound?
but at
'Cause
the
being
same
told my mic
time,
doesn't sound good.
You're a little low,
Uh,
Ike. You need
Yeah.
to come up.
Does
a
it
little
sound
bit.
better now?
but at the same time, if money's not a thing, you do the Trinoff because there's no question. It has all the features. It has everything you need. There's nothing that you're really gonna. There's nothing else you can really get. You know what I mean? at
Unless you
that
go to
point,
professional. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm asking this,
even
and
then.
I honestly don't know the answer. What's the starting price of a Trinoff?
I think
What
they're
is
around
what's the
16 grand.
MSRP, yeah,
coming in at the bottom, starting
MSRP
at
like 16,000.
$16,000.
okay.
Yeah.
So how does a person balance budget versus performance? Right? You're
Mhm.
looking at you can get a 9-channel or 11-channel for significantly less, right? And you can do that every 5 years and still be paying less. And if you look at Trinoff, there's no
Oh, sorry.
way that
The Altitude
hardware can
16
make
is now
it past 10, right?
19.5.
Yeah.
Oh, 9.
They,
So,
I
I
think they
mean-
just
yeah,
increased
So if
it
you're looking at like a
over
10-year
December.
window, right? Both sides, whether you're buying budget at 5 years or you're buying Trinoff or similar and it's lasting 10
Mhm.
years.
Yeah.
How do you balance the difference between your performance and the budget, right? Because you're getting new features both ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. Because I could buy a new
And I
processor.
don't have the answer for that, right? I mean,
Well, and again, like I said, if
one way
you
you're getting
need
something new that might, and you
Yeah,
might get something better, whether you're at like a mid-level device.
I think one important
Yeah.
factor you have to think about when you're choosing a processor is how many channels do you need?
Do you need?
It
Yeah.
all
That is
depends on
true.
your
and
room.
that's where
If-
I was
if-
like, unless you have a 30-foot long, room, do
You need a
really
really large
more
room.
than 6?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, I want Ike to do his 0.6, and I want him to be after the newness wears off, and he's like, oh, this is amazing. Then I want him
So-
to unplug
So
everything.
I'm really not expecting too much. I think it's more about
Okay.
what I want versus what I'm
Yeah,
expecting out
and
of it.
that to me, like me with the new SVS speakers, I'm like, okay, those look great. There's enough drivers in them that they have a higher sensitivity. So my 14, 15-foot listening distance, that'll meet what I desire because they look great. They should have a better sensitivity. Will they sound better than Focal, Martin Logan's, or whatever? They're all gonna be so similar. And sure,
I'm a little skeptical about and this became not my idea, but it came from watching Youth Man's channel the other day. Him and Jonathan were talking about these speakers, and
let me
He was
guess:
talk-
time alignment, ear level, all this bullshit that people
Mhm.
think they fucking can hear. Dude, every one of these people that start talking like that, they have never done a true blind listening. Because I'm telling you, we are all biased. I'm biased.
Mhm.
I'm biased the opposite, right? Like, even if I hear something like 20% better, it better just be 20% cost increase. If it's 2,000% cost increase and it's 50% better, I'm still going to be like, no, because I'm
I
like,
think the
okay.
question was more did the woofers actually cancel each other out for the cabinet residents because they have to be
Because it's not
specifically-
sealed and all this stuff.
Right,
Yeah,
correct,
yeah.
Well, do we
Yeah,
know
so
if
I'm-
it's in
I'm
separate?
interested to
Who?
see
Okay,
the
first
jury-
of all,
mean-
has anyone measured vibration, aka resonance? Do you even know the fucking tool to use? Because I can guarantee you, there's not an audio person on YouTube that has ever bought a vibration meter to actually measure the resonance of an actual cabinet, because that's a physical thing. You're saying the cabinet is resonating. The physical cabinet is moving, causing resonance.
Yeah, you have to be a meteorologist to have one of those instruments, Paul.
A meteorologist.
I just put my forehead against it, and if I could feel
Except
it,
if you're
it
buying, except if
Yeah,
you're
I
buying a
mean,
different
I
type
get
of
it. I'm
vibrator.
not, and I'm not.
All right, so I just
diminishing-
officially found the way to rub Paul the wrong way.
No, yeah, dude, I'm telling you, because everybody's an expert, and even me, I'm sitting here saying, you gotta explain that. You can tell me your experience, and I can believe you, even if I, with my science engineering background, in the back of my mind is sitting there saying, well, that's not possible. The science dictates that that's not even possible. I'm not saying that I don't believe you, but you
Right.
don't profess your experience to be fact. There's a big difference between what you experience and what is actual reality. Causation doesn't mean, or I forgot what the word is. Jessica, she knows, like, when something happens at the same time, it doesn't mean that that's the cause, and that's where people get, like, we know for a fact, scientifically, you can't hear below a certain frequency. But people say, oh, 5 hertz, I can hear that, or 15 hertz. It's just not true. People will take speakers, they'll listen to them in a room, they'll say, oh no, I definitely heard it. I had 20 people say yes, they could hear it.
it's a physical
All it
presence.
takes is you to hear mechanical noise to be like, oh yeah, I can hear that. Oh, I can feel that. Oh yeah, I definitely feel that. And
Yeah.
it's
At 5, you'd be lucky. feel
It
the
could
pressure
be, yeah. A lot of
and
it
the
could be.
vibration.
Oh, actually, is what it is. Is it's going to this hallway that's basically like a port tube tuned. So 5 hertz, you're shooting it out, and it's coming back at a total different, sound, and you're feeling some or hearing some third, fourth harmonic that you think you're hearing the 5 hertz, or distortion in the room itself. You're just you're hearing the rattle, thinking you're hearing the 5 hertz.
And
Most
even-
of the time,
even
that's
if-
really what's
And
happening.
even if you can somehow magically create 5 hertz out of your wonderful speakers in your room, doesn't necessarily mean that if you take it to other rooms, right, other home theater spaces, that you can still somehow create
Right. It
that
just
same
depends on how you
experience.
can pressurize that
You,
room.
you know, and that's kind of where
The only way that I would believe if someone could hear 5 hertz, you go into a field, you put a speaker 50 feet in the air, you stand 100 feet away from it, and you put out 150 dB of 50 hertz. If you can fucking hear it then, you're a 1 in a billion, 1 in a trillion that can hear below a certain frequency. But no one's doing that. And to that point, doesn't
Well,
matter.
I know
you
that
know.
what's his name, James Larson, he's doing it. Not saying that he can hear it, but that's how they rate their subwoofers at Audioholics. They put it up
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
air.
he does a good job.
Yeah.
He does a
Well,
good job.
he knows, but he
his
knows he himself, whether or not his channel that he works for will promote, what is real. The numbers sell, so that there's nothing wrong with that. And even people that hang their hat on that, there's nothing wrong with that. I used, whenever I was doing car audio competitions, I went down to 5 hertz. Like, you were shattering windows and
Yep.
all the time. And really, it's just one of those things where it's until you you got to get down to, sub-0 hertz. That's the real experience. Oh, no, it's not.
That's why you need that 50-inch subwoofer, Paul.
Yeah,
Why do you
yeah.
think? Why do you think that John Anthony has 8 subwoofers in his room? Because
Well,
wants to get-
and so, but to my point,
10,
I
10, dog, 10.
love the
10, sorry.
hobby. I love the hobby, and I don't diminish 5 hertz. I don't diminish anybody that has 5 hertz. But whenever people start throwing out, their measuring contests, oh well, you don't have a good system because you go down to 5 hertz. It's like, okay, well now you're just doing that for pure bragging. To be blunt, okay, you're just doing a dick measuring contest. So what? Okay, big deal. All
Miguel,
right,
your theater might be done before mine, but I go to 5 hertz.
You're assuming that his doesn't go down to 2 hertz.
He's
Guess
might be
who's
going down to
tuning?
4.5
Guess who's
hertz.
tuning his system? So his will probably be better than mine.
I think the truth of the reality is you have to test your system and what works in your theater to see if you like it or not. I have done both.
Yeah. If you
I have
you
run
enjoy
it flat
it,
down to
yep. Yeah, and you
I have run it
experience
flat down
then
to
that's
10
great.
hertz or below 10 hertz, and personally, I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it felt in my own home theater, so I stopped doing it. I have multiple subs not to chase the single digit hertz
just
at
want
all.
that.
So what
I just
what
want that
portion of the
smooth bass.
low frequency did you not like?
I think anything from after 15 hertz down, if I don't let it roll off after 15 hertz, the feeling was not there. It just felt weird to me. It felt too much pressure in my chest that
You
I'm
were
like,
getting
okay,
that brown note.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like,
that
I
brown
really
note.
don't like it. Yeah,
You can't stop until they start calling you the dentist because you're knocking teeth out.
you know.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That I got.
So-
Oh man, that's a good one. And
So,
see,
so
that's
I think
it's one of those things where it's like, it's like, okay, I can probably take me about 10 grand, but I could, in this small room, that's the key, right? People don't even realize
how
that.
big the
Dude,
size of
I-
the room is.
I
Yeah.
could do 150 hertz tomorrow in this room with 10 grand. Would it be fun? Would it be whatever? No, you would experience, but who gives a shit? It's like, okay, yeah, but here's the thing. They hit these high decibel levels at these frequencies. And another thing that people don't realize is even if you hear down to 15 hertz, like let's say someone has the ability to hear it down to 18 because they have superhuman hearing. It's not a linear scale. You're not here. Even everyone knows, like if you're below reference, everybody uses this reference keyword, right? The reason
Are you
is
saying 120, 115 dB for subwoofers?
perceived volume levels of vocal range versus subs is 10 dB higher. Well, guess what? That's even more when you get down below 20. We're talking like 30 dB higher to even, because there are articles, okay, and this is why I say people are not hearing their 15 hertz. And I'm going to contradict myself here, because there are articles where people have been able to hear down to some of these as low as 15 hertz, but it was 30 dB louder. So if you're listening to a movie at 75 dB or 85 and you're listening at 115, in order to humanly perceive that 15 hertz, that means you're talking 115 or 100, like 150 dB. So the only person that's going to hear that are your JTR people, but below that, it's even more. So it's a it is exponentially louder to be able to even perceive that it's there, but it's not even a tangible input. Like, yeah, you could feel it. It's an experience, but it to me, it's fun, but it's not something I would say you need to have a great theater experience.
I'm sure that everybody when they first started their theaters, they're that's not something that they were striving for. I'm sure it's something.
Yeah, the average
Something
guy
that-
just
that-
wants to watch.
Yeah, right.
watch a
So
movie
as they
and
got into the
enjoy it.
hobby more and more,
Yeah,
just who's to say what I should strive for, right?
Yep.
If I want
Well,
to hit,
yeah.
if I want to hit 150 dB or like Scott or Scott from Scott and Cat from
and
Living
that's
with Scott
that,
and Cat.
and people don't understand how impressive that is to get
Yeah.
that type of level
Mm-hmm.
in a room that size. Engineering wise, that's amazing.
Yeah,
But
he posted something on Facebook the other day. He got a
lot of
Guinness World Book record.
oh
for
wow,
doing
okay,
that,
that's
so-
amazing. But I can tell
Yeah.
you, ain't nobody and there's I love that. I would love to experience that in a home. I've experienced that in cars. I've experienced
Right.
170 decibels in cars. I mean, where you have to double, triple earplug, and you're like, you can feel the air coming out of
Pushing
your
it
lungs.
in and out.
It's why it's like, wow.
You're
that-
like,
that-
am I breathing still, or is it breathing?
you're,
for me?
exactly. You're like, oh, that's freaky, right? But to get
Right.
that
Yeah.
in a house, yeah, that I'm sure is fun. But see, he's not over there saying, "Oh, anybody less is horrible." You know what I'm saying?
Right,
He's not one of
exactly,
these
yeah.
like, "Oh, you got to have." He's doing that for him. He's loving it. It's having fun, and that's a great hobby to be into. It really is, if you can afford the drywall repair.
it's that
Or the,
balance.
or the 8
It's that
captivators
balance
that he's
between
got.
Yeah,
what
but
you want
even
and what
he,
you
and this
like.
this is what I like about him. He says, "Well, I'm not watching movies at this."
Right,
Like
right,
he
right.
he literally will say, "Well, yeah, this is me whipping out my big schlong, and I like showing it off. It's like, hey, look, 150, buddy, bow, and
Yeah.
hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I love that. That's good fun. But a lot
Yeah,
of
like
people
I said, I mean,
literally
who
will
are we to say
tell
what
you,
other people should
"Oh,
should
you
strive
should
for? Or
you should well everybody, even we've said this, buy once cry once. Oh, you got to go the
Yeah.
JTR dual captivators, just buy once cry once. It's like, really, do you really need
Yeah,
that
I
much?
think the numbers.
I think I should go for it with my shared wall, with my neighbor.
yeah, with
Oh,
your
boy.
neighbor.
Yeah.
No, you need to go
Like,
infinite
I am
baffle.
in California.
You need to go
so
infinite
enough
baffle with
subs.
your neighbors. Like literally cut your drywall out and theirs, and just stick like a 2-footed subwoofer on the other. They're like,
I
what the,
would have
what
to
the
play
hell's
like
going
some
on?
kind of
Sorry,
some
but I
kind
need
of
to run these
emergency
speaker wires
warning
over here.
siren. Emergency
Yeah.
warning siren, and then play sub 20 hertz tone, so everyone thinks it's an
No,
earthquake.
but I think, just to conclude this particular subject, I think the numbers really matter when it comes out to calling out the manufacturers, right? So if you're selling a subwoofer and you say it goes down to negative 20 hertz, it's really important that we have people that are able to try to measure that so that you're not selling us wolf tickets, right? But on the consumer side, I don't think it should really matter as much as certain people try to make it.
Look,
if you can
Andrew
hear 5
Robinson
hertz in
says
your
that
home
best.
theater, just
The
move
only
on.
person that has to like your system is you, right?
Mhm.
Well,
He
that's
does
true.
say that best at the end of every one of his videos.
Yeah.
You are the only person that has to like your system, right? And
Yep.
You can spend
Sure,
as
we
much
all-
or
we
as
all wanna-
little on your system.
I mean,
and you know what?
how-
If you're
how many
enjoying
times
it,
have you guys-
that's all that matters.
I'm sure you guys run into like someone's like, "Hey, come in, check out my system. It's really awesome," and you hear it, and you're like, but to them, it's awesome,
them, it's great,
right?
yeah.
Definitely.
And I'm not going to
Definitely,
dog
definitely.
them for
And, you
having
know-
a system that they feel is awesome,
And
right?
maybe
and
that's
even if I know that it doesn't measure out, like you can audibly, it's
Yeah.
not even flat, there's not even like close to any kind of like normal reference of
once
any
you
kind.
There's
experience
zero
They
treatments in
enjoy
the
it.
room, and
Zero
it's
treatments,
just a big echo
echoing,
hall.
slapping off the back
that's
walls,
where you try. That's where
like-
you try to educate them, right? Versus creating
Exactly,
some type
right.
of competition.
well, but only I like what Michael said on one of his last videos. It's like you don't need to educate them. You shouldn't unless they are
Ask you for the help.
asking.
If they ask
Oh yeah,
for
that's what I mean.
Like, hey, how
depend-
can I improve?
Yeah, you don't randomly go educate somebody they just invited you
Like, oh,
and you're
hey, you're
meeting
doing
them
this
for the first
wrong.
time. No,
Yeah.
I'm talking about
You-
somebody
you're-
that you already know
A
and have
perfect
a
example is like-
Yeah, you need to get rid of all of your speakers because you're
No,
choosing
no.
horrible
That's
Hey,
not
names.
the type
you're
of
doing your
education.
Sounds
color
like doo-doo,
calibration
man.
wrong, Ike. You know, it's like unless someone
That's
asks,
not the
you
type
don't.
of education. That's not education. That's
You don't
that's
need.
unnecessary
you don't need-
criticism.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
no, I
exactly.
agree.
education-
And, you know, there's a
education
lot of
means
people that
if you
troll and
think-
everything else.
If you think that maybe some type of acoustic treatment might help, you talk to them about it, but not necessarily in terms of trying to compete, saying, "Oh,
Right. Yeah.
you're
And when they
missing
come
out
to you and say,
because
you know what, I
don't."
can't hear the center channel,
Yeah.
well, look,
Yeah.
No,
this
you
is
don't.
what you
You
need.
can provide some
This
guidance,
is this is
right?
what
Well, you
this is what
instruct
might
them.
help
You
you.
instruct them on the basics. It's like,
Yeah.
well, it could be your center channel, could be the placement of your center channel, it could be your room acoustics. Turn off your center channel, do phantom. Does your left and right speaker, if you sit dead center, bring your vocals back? That you're okay. Then that means, it's not your room; it's your center channel. So they'll figure out your, where. Oh no, if I do phantom, I still have the same problem. They're like, okay, you need room. You need room treatments.
You
It's
need some room
it's simple
treatments, yeah.
things like that people don't. People way overcomplicate it. A lot of people are. You got YouTubers that are entertainers like us, and excuse me, I'm on here, so it's probably way less entertaining. So, so you got
The
channels.
only entertainer on here is Scottio, man.
Scottio
and
is
Wiggles.
good.
That's the
Yeah.
only entertainer.
Let's
I
put the
wish I
wigs
had
on,
the-
guys. Let's get the wigs
I
going again.
gotta say, I do in fact that picture that you showed of the other Scottio guest. Man, you made that dude look pretty good. I was like, damn.
Yeah, no,
Must
I
have
was
been having a
digging through
good
some
day.
stuff trying to find some slideshows. I got to get my overhead projector going here and show. Speaking of my overhead projector, can you share my screen for me?
Yeah, I can do that.
Speaking of my overhead projector, Mr. John Anthony, what you got going on over here?
Yeah, so I
What is
I did
it?
a little bit of remodeling in my room to make things work a little bit better. So I got a nice PC laptop over the holiday break, and finally it arrives now after 2 to 3 weeks. So it finally arrived. So I was able to set it up. So you can see my Synology NAS on the bottom. In the next photo, but mainly it's a setup. So to improve the Wi-Fi signal in my house, I have a router sitting right behind my laptop, right there. So yep. So that's my bigger router, and I actually installed 2 more of those around my house, acting as a mesh system. But that router is actually running a wire connection straight to my home theater. So the wire connection go through the walls and straight into the home theater. So for home theater wise, it's really not a good idea to try to do it Wi-Fi. It's better to install everything wire. But the Wi-Fi system, it's mainly I improved it so that I can install multiple cameras around my house. But this is the setup that I have right now to back up my disk and to run my Synology NAS. So it's a little bit of an upgrade for me.
Holy ROMs.
Yeah, so
Holy
I mean,
How
are you
How many
are you
you
like
mentioned
raiding the
about
red
Mick
box
and-
or what's going on?
how many things are you ripping at once?
I was just
Hey,
commenting. I was like,
are they just do they
"Man,
back
you
up the truck
actually
and
have-
drop the discs at your door or what?
you
Well,
have one more drive than me." Or no, I take that back. I think you have.
Do you have
2
more than I do?
drives.
Hey,
well-
I think we finally found Jack the Reaper, man.
Yeah, Jack the Ripper. That's right. I have
Dang.
3 Blu-rays and 3 DVD drives, or 3 that I can do 4K and 3 that I can do
Well,
DVD.
when you are backing up movies, it's not a big deal. You can back up one movie at a time. But when you
No,
do a
I can back
TV
up
show,
all of them. I can run
Yeah.
all
All
of
of
my
them.
drives at once.
and
yeah.
that's what I'm doing. With this laptop, I'm running
Yeah.
all 5 drives at the same time, and I can back up a TV show in about 2 hours. So the whole entire season
Yeah,
of,
Yeah,
yep.
you know,
yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's
I get
why.
that.
That's the reason I
So
did it too. Because once you
Mhm.
what
start
I'm
doing this,
working on could really help you out. I see.
it's Android versus iPhone. You have a Synology. I have a QNAP.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about QNAP. So the other thing is, you know, my Synology, I run out of hard drive bay pretty much. If you can go to the next picture, so it's I think I can only add one more extension bay to it. So this Synology, you can do extension bay. So each extension bay you can put in. Can you
I
hear me?
keep
Did it
locking
get?
up. I don't know if
Yeah, I kept
Yeah.
locking up
if
too.
Did,
Yeah,
I
I
thought it was
noticed
just
that.
yeah,
me.
okay. I was
I
just
thought it was
chat. I
me.
was like,
YouTube
wait,
glitch.
was that me? So you
Yeah.
literally have this. You have the expansion bay maxed out.
The
What size
expansion
hard drives do you have? Like 2 gigs?
18, 18
Eight?
terabytes each for each bay.
18
Jesus
each.
criminy! You
Dang, I
have
thought I was
more.
crazy.
well,
Yeah,
No,
I do
he's
have a
also
16
ripping.
bay.
So just so you know, he's also ripping the full BDMV, right?
Yep.
So
yeah.
he's
yeah.
not
That's
using
true. That's
MKV.
true.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I probably. Yeah, I would. But even then, I would only be at like maybe 8 at most. But I don't have as many.
But
I don't have as
I've
large
also
of a
been
collection.
collecting movies since 2000. Oh, I'm sorry, 2000, since 1997. So I still remember the first DVD I bought was what's that vampire movie with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise in it. Interview with the Vampire.
Interview with the
Yeah. Oh, I
Vampire.
love that movie,
Yeah.
dude. That's such an underrated. And you, okay, you did the basics. You
Yep.
have a UPS power supply. If you
UPS
have a
power supply.
NAS and you do not have a UPS, you
You'll
you
be in
should
You're
trouble.
have.
asking for
You
trouble.
Yep.
you
You're
you
asking
So,
for
need
trouble.
your data corrupted
what
yesterday if you don't
what are you
have
doing
that.
for backups?
Yeah,
What are you doing for backups? Are you backing it up as well?
No, it's yeah, just I do
it's a raid,
OneDrive
right? You got to set
backup.
up
It's
his
a
raid.
RAID, OneDrive RAID. Yeah, it's a RAID. So it back
Yep.
one of the drivers backup. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
you're not doing a backup. See,
You're not
in
doing any
our
kind of backup.
industry, that's not a backup.
no, it's not really a
That's
true backup.
that's an
But it-
uptime
yeah.
redundancy is all that is. That is
That's
not a backup.
one day you will lose it.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's a chance. There's a
One day you will
There's
lose
a
it all.
chance.
That's what that
There's a
means. Yep.
chance.
That is literally what that
yeah,
means. Yep. And that's
that
why
is very true.
when you're starting off and even me, the only reason I'm going to upgrade to a larger NAS myself is
Hmm.
because I do want RAID, because now I've got so much other stuff besides just movies. Because the movies, I was like, I don't even need RAID. I don't give a crap if the whole thing OneDrive fails. I have to replace it. I got to put all the movies down because I have everything backed up on external drives separate that
Hmm.
are cold storage. I have it fully backed up. So sure, it'll take me 2 or 3 days to restore it, but that 2 or 3 days won't be me doing stuff like it took me months to do all my movies. It will just be me plugging in a USB, hitting copy, and then walking away for 24 hours, unplugging and hitting the button again, versus but now I'm like, oh man, I got so much stuff on there now
Yep.
that I'm like, yeah, I need the RAID now. Damn it.
So Paul, for people who doesn't know, what is the best way to back up your data? Even if you have a NAS, like you said, I can lose all of this with a bad thunderstorm
Yep. If the lightning comes in, it could literally
Mhm.
fry every single one of those
and
drives
fry
at
every
once.
single one. And like, there's no way I can recover it,
It's
even with a
usually
RAID.
it's usually off-site storage,
Yep.
or external storage. It's the only
And then
way.
you
There's a
put it in
couple
your
of
closet.
providers that would be
Yeah,
more reasonably
or
priced that you could leverage.
like in my case,
Oh,
I
I mean, we're
have
probably
physical
looking at
me-
what 200
physical
terabytes
media.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's about 220 terabytes of
Yep.
data.
but the thing is what happens is if you for external backups, you don't need, like, I'm sure you probably went all out on your drives, right? You have NAS equipped drives, right? You don't need NAS equipped drives for cold storage. You can
Sure.
get a 20 terabyte, well, it's just a 20 terabyte 5200 RPM drive. You don't need it to be fast. You don't need it to be, 24 hours a day the spindle can spin. You just need, well, I'm going to use it for the one time I back up, and then it's going to sit in a safe, or again, offsite. In the business world, it's always offsite. You have cold storage offsite in another place, like either tape drives, and that's a thing, but tape drives are expensive. But for the upper echelon people that budget is no option, tape drive's the way to go, because you could literally get a tape that could hold hundreds of terabytes on one tape, and you could literally just mail that to 5 different places. But getting a system like that's like 20 grand, for tape drive backups. It's not cheap.
I mean,
But it's so, the amount of storage you can put on a tape drive is like insane. But
yeah, I mean, it's looking like, the regular, like a regular 20 terabyte hard drive somewhere around, $300-400. So if you got to back up one of those, that isn't the Pro, if you got to back up each one of those, what do you got? You got 5 and 8. So you got 13 of them to back up. So we're still talking,
is in this scenario, is what you need is you need Don to have the exact setup.
That's what I was
your
going to say.
best
If you
bet.
can find someone to pool
Yep.
your storage resources together,
Yeah.
then you can cross-replicate between 2 locations.
Yep.
And that would
you
be
a
use,
good
you use
solution
each
for
other
something
as
like
your
that.
cold storage or
Or
your
close.
backup.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like $9,000 just in backup discs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well get a K, right?
But if you bought that in the show the picture again,
The good news is
it
that
would be $30,000.
we have the movies too, so that's your backup,
that
right?
That's
So
my
helps.
backup.
Yes. As long as you have the discs, you have that as a backup. It's just
that's your true
pain to,
backup
pain to
there.
rewrite
That
all
is a
those.
true backup. Yep.
Hey,
So-
Scott, you ready to do your tour? You want to join in on your
Yeah, let
device?
me get my phone up and going here and
Stop.
show you guys around.
Yeah, man. Let's see what we got working over there, Scott. I'm interested to see what you got. I did see your videos. Once again, if you guys haven't subscribed to Scottio, which is SCAUTO on YouTube, or excuse me, SCAUDIO. Make sure you go over there to his channel, subscribe. He can definitely use some subscribers and some views. I did see you got a couple of your videos got a couple thousand views on them though. So
Yeah, I've had a few that did well. Like I said, I'm mostly doing it for fun, right? It's just kind
Right.
of goofy. If something comes along and I feel like someone might benefit for it, I might do a little section on it, or if I get some products that I actually really like, right? It's not like people are lining up the door to send me any hardware. I myself, I lean towards what can I get? What's the best bang for the dollar, right? So I have a lot of budget stuff. I like playing around with budget gear and seeing if I can make it perform well.
And this is coming from someone, and I haven't. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to anyways. The one thing I do want to see, I want to see that Lotus, because that is one of the cars that I thought about getting at one point. Toyota Supra, and I looked at the Lotus. And
who's got a Lotus?
I lost audio for a minute, guys.
Someone on this channel. It's not me.
Somebody's got a Lotus.
Oh
Nice.
yeah. I have a Lotus,
Very nice.
but I did it the budget way. I was just talking
Yeah,
about
that's what I'm
budget,
saying,
and,
man. That's how me and him get
this
along.
happened during the housing crisis. I had just moved to California. I didn't really have a solid job or anything. and
So you buy
I
a
met
Lotus.
people, and we
Yeah,
were
I don't
drinking
have
one night,
money. I
and
don't have a
knew,
job. I want that.
they knew I
That's
was
what
into track
yeah.
racing from
That's how
being
it
living in the
works.
Midwest, and so we were having some drinks, and they're like, "Oh, you should buy a Lotus." I'm like, "I can't afford a Lotus," and we ended up popping onto one of the Lotus forums. We're all, rowdy and just making a bunch of noise. It's before I had kids or anything, and there was some guy that posted on there, and he's like, "I need to get rid of my Lotus. If I don't get rid of my Lotus by tomorrow, I'm not going to make my house payment, and I'm going to lose my house." And so he was asking, a higher price than what I could even imagine paying at the time. And we were like, my friends are just like, "Oh, just lowball him, give him whatever." So I lowballed him, and he shot me a message back. He's like, "No, no, I can't do that, man. No, I can't do that." I was like, "All right," we just hung out the rest of the night, and I went to bed. And the next morning, there's a message in the forums: "Hey, how fast do you think you'd come down today with that money?" I was like, and I didn't have the money. I didn't even have the money. And I'm like, "I don't know, but I'll figure it out. Give me a few hours. I'll be down there." Cause I knew the upside on the car was like 15 grandish, probably, 10,
Right.
15,000. So I'm like, even if I can't afford to keep the car because I'm not, situated well yet, I'll flip it and I'll make some easy money.
Right. Heck yeah.
But yeah, so that's how I ended up coming across that.
Yeah.
And,
Now,
yeah.
what color is it? I forget.
It's silver. And
Silver. Oh, okay. See, I wanted the green one with the yellow accents.
oh yeah, the
I
British green,
love the
British
green.
racing
Yeah,
green.
greens, man.
Yeah,
I
I've
looked
always
at
liked the
that and the
Lotuses.
Supra. That's out of all the cars, and of course, one of my bosses that I had at the time, which I got to, explore. I'll just say that was the Lamborghini Countach. But everybody loved the Countach. If you're a
Yes.
child of the '80s, you like the
Mhm.
Countach. But
Oh,
my boss or owner, I didn't even talk to the guy. Honestly, the only reason I even got to see the car was because he owned a Ford dealership, or a couple, let's just say that. And the dealership that I had been at, he had the mechanics there work on it. So it was always in the shop needing something. It was his beater car for him if he was handing it over to the Ford mechanics. No offense to any Ford mechanics, but if you're
Yeah.
handing a Lamborghini off to your local dealership mechanics, it's like, those are some pretty special tools sometimes that you need. But it was always in the lot, and
So
every now and then
you can
they'd have
join in
fun
on
with
your
it.
phone, Scott. Let's.
Yep, that's what I was working on right now. Hang on a second.
All right. Well, I'm going to take this time to excuse myself
well, what are
because
we ever going to do without you?
probably be entertaining and not listen to me rant
No, Paul, we
over
definitely
nothing. Like,
appreciate you
okay,
joining.
now that naysayer's out of the way, let's sell all the sponsors are going to come in the minute that I leave. It's like, oh, now that asshole is out of the way.
No, man, we enjoy
have
your company. I
sponsors?
enjoy
I have
I
no
enjoy your
idea.
input with everything. That's exactly what I was telling Fred. On the phone, we had about a 30-minute conversation. Look, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and you know, um, they can definitely bring something to the show. Speaking of that, if you would like to join the show, please shoot us an email at what are we sending to that, Ike? Home Theater Hub Live, right?
Yep, I'll put it
At
in the chat.
at gmail.com. Home Theater Hub Live at gmail.com. Please send us an email if you'd like to join in on the show. We'd love to have as many people on here. We'd like to introduce you first, get you to do your tour, and then after that it's an open invite. So Scott, next week if you want to join, by all means, you got the link. Come on and join, man. Let's have some fun and continue this party. We just want to continue to grow this community and support our fellow home theater enthusiasts. So just to sit around, chat at the night, have a couple beers or a couple drinks while we're having fun discussing our favorite hobby and what else we have going on. So, are you all ready there, Mr. Scott? Mr. Wiggles, is Mr. Wiggles going to do the tour for us, or is Scott going to do the tour for us?
I think you're on mute, Scott. So whenever
Yeah,
you're ready,
Scott's
just
on.
let me
You're
know.
on mute right now.
All right. Yeah, I
There we
think I'm
go.
ready here.
Okay, we see you,
Again, it's
Bam, there
Celine.
we go.
swirling all over.
So while we're getting situated, what else you got going on in that theater of yours, Ike? You said you got some new. What type of speakers did you get for the third set of Atmos and wides? What brand of speakers did you get for those?
All my bed layers are the same. They're the monolith in walls. So I'm keeping everything the same. The in ceilings, I had some OSDs there, but I'm replacing them with the RSLs, the Mac 2 RSLs with the angled baffle
Okay.
and tweeter. So that's what I'm going to be having in ceiling.
Now, are
Once I
those
get to
angled?
replace them. Yes, they are.
Okay, very nice. So you can point them right at the listening direction or position.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes, yeah, you can, yeah, that's kind of why I went with them. I wanted to go with on ceilings, but I think I just decided to keep the in wall, in ceiling aesthetics going and not,
All right.
not
So it
bother.
looks like Scott's ready here.
Scott, are you ready?
Scott, before
We're
before
seeing your
you
laptop.
show your theater, what did you have prior?
Hang on one
To
second. I am not ready. This is not
you're not
working
ready.
out. Hang on.
What's your gimbal acting up here?
Yeah.
So while you're adjusting that, what did you have? Prior, because I know you built this out recently. Your other microphone
Your
is
main
on mute.
mic is on mute, Scott.
I think your laptop is on mute, Scott.
Your laptop is on mute. You're on mute, Scott.
He don't have his headphones
I had an
on.
old SR607 Onkyo and some some home built DIY speakers based on a Parts Express kit. It was an MTM design, and I ran that for quite a while, and I just kind of had gotten out of the whole home theater audio thing for several years. When I moved out here, it was life change, and there was a gap. Before that, I was into it with car audio and stuff back in Michigan. But so there was a big gap. I really was kind of running some budget gear and some, just fun do-it-yourself home build, and got back into it. So now I'm kind of still on the budget side, but working towards some additional setup, which I'll show you. But I'm having some
So
difficulties
you
at the
used to
moment.
have
Give
your
me one
theater
second.
currently is
Ike,
in,
do you mind if I
just
just
from
drop
talk.
out on the laptop and just connect directly up with my phone? Then I can flip back in a little bit here. I think
Yes,
that'll
you
probably
can, yeah,
solve some problems.
you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So currently you moved your theater into another location. When we first met, you
So Scott, he's gonna drop off down and
oh,
then
okay.
reconnect.
So just to give a backstory from what I know, I believe he had his theater set up in a living area, um, that was kind of like next to a stairwell and stuff like that. And then recently, I believe he moved his theater into a bedroom area, which I'm excited to see because I've not seen it, to completion yet. So I know that he's been working on it for a little while, and he's definitely been, you know, talking about it in the after show and everything else. Hey, what's going on, Aaron? Thanks for showing us the support. Appreciate you joining our live here. So, Mr. Ike, you got the monoliths now, right? And as far as installing them, I know you went through some to install your wides, you went through some tribulations. Tell us about what you did in order to be able even to install those wide channels while we're waiting on Scott to come back in.
Man, that's the thing with tribulations, right? You want to forget them. So I think I may have actually forgotten them, but yeah, I basically had to just let's see, what did I end up doing? I ended up building some new columns, right?
Right.
I ended up building some columns in the home theater, 4 of them, and then basically took out the in walls from the walls and then had to move them into the columns that I built. I think it looks way much better just in terms of the aesthetics. Give me a second. Let me add Scott back while I'm doing this. But yeah, it made the home theater look a lot better. And
I look
think-
forward to seeing some before and after pictures for
So
that.
so wait, what made it look better? I missed the initial, like you did some arrangement of equipment or speakers or
Yeah, so I removed the speakers from in wall, right, and basically built columns, 4 Greek style columns,
gotcha.
and then moved them. And then I built the columns to kind of be floating. So they're not connected. They're only connected to the side walls. They're not connected to the ceiling. They're not really connected to the floor.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But they're floating.
So they
you
look
know.
like accent pieces as opposed to like just pillars straight up. Yeah. And that's the thing that I like about, as much as I'm a cheap ass, about even seeing like the $1 million theaters or, the people that are more budget. You get ideas every time you see something and you can implement them. Oh, okay. I'm ready
I
to
think
see
we
All
have
right,
Scott now.
now
Can you guys hear
now
me?
we're in business. Hey, just
Yep.
just
You guys hear me all
this-
right?
Yeah,
Yep.
we can hear you. You guys
All
know
right.
by now that nothing is scripted on this show, right? So we just fly by the seat of our pants here and
Man,
try to
I
make
tested
stuff
it
work. So-
earlier and everything was good.
There's only one
So that was
reason
interesting.
that you need that bright of a light in a bedroom, and it's not for putting on your makeup. So what else are you doing in this bedroom here?
We'll just have to be quiet on that one. Well, maybe be. So this is actually where I was sitting, guys.
Scene
So-
stage left.
Yes. So when I first set up the lights, we have neighbors that are actually behind my screen here, and there's a window over there. And I saw them looking in the window, wondering what the heck is going on. I have all this studio lighting in here.
Did they really hear
I-
that bow music?
Yeah.
going on?
Right. I should have just.
You are in
Jammed it out.
California, right?
That's right. You never know what happens in California, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is my recent project, and this is was actually just, I don't even know why I did it. I just got a bug, and I ended up getting a deal on. I don't know if you guys are. I know you guys are familiar with the Monoprice 5.1. They're like the PHX compact certified satellite speakers, and it came in a 5.1 set with an 8-inch powered sub, which is like about 150 watt sub. And these speakers are concentric design. It's like a 4.5-inch driver, I believe. Yeah, it's a 4.5-inch concentric driver in each one. Let me get a little bit closer. So I decided to do a bedroom build basically and show people that you could do it on a budget. These went on sale. I was able to snag 2 of them, and they're impressive. They sound really good, and being in a compact room like this, it cranks. And I'm not powering it with a very decent receiver. So the receiver was also a freebie, which is the X2300W. So as you'll see, I am doing like on the ground, I have a 5.1. I got 5.2, got the 2 subs there. And then I have the 2 heights.
Oh, nice.
So I got the heights and then the surrounds. But this is a bedroom build, so nothing's placed in
you need to
its
turn
perfect
off.
spot.
Yeah, Chernobyl
Right.
goes down like
So
they're in the right spot.
you have compromises, right? And I have compromises not only with the room, but with the bed here. And then the wife wants it to look nice and be kind of small. I already really pushed the limits. I'm only powering it with Jimmy Elfin projector, so it's actually a pretty decent little projector. It's 700 lumens, measured at 700 lumens on Artines, which is pretty good for a little projector. It does HDR10 or HDR and HDR10 plus. Has 4K input with a 19 with the 1080p output. Um,
So, and
so
you
I'm
painted. Looks
running.
like you painted that wall. What the behind the screen is that a black
So
or a
that was
dark
a
gray?
surprise. So that is almost a Barney purple, and it
Oh
was a
wow.
bit of a surprise. You can see as I get a little bit closer. It was
Okay.
a bit of a surprise. I told my wife I wanted to do a dark matte gray, and she kind of grinned and she gave me the bottle and said, "Don't worry, when it dries, it'll gray up." But I was like, I don't know. And I put a little splotch. I did a little test on the wall, and I was like, I am not doing Barney. For me, Barney was like, no. Like I don't want
Right.
Barney
Right.
Barney purple on my wall. But actually, it looks. I think it looks great. I really, really
You know
actually
what? It
like the
looks
color
way
now.
better than black. I mean, not that
It
black
does.
doesn't do great things, but
Mhm.
it's not conducive to an
A
inviting
bedroom, yeah.
space.
Right.
Especially you want that space to be pretty inviting. Just saying.
So, and if you flip over to here, this is where I record a lot of my movies, and it's nothing, or a lot of my YouTube videos, and nothing special. I'm still working on my desk over
You
here.
had it. You
Plan on
had it
mounting two
correct the first
monitors.
time. Your movies.
hmm
And it'll set up here.
That was a Freudian
And I
slip.
have some, just miscellaneous movie, you know,
All right. Got the
collectibles
gauntlet in
around.
hand.
And I built that right there, the Tony Stark as a heart.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Now wait a minute.
Yeah, it
Did you say
actually
you
lights
built
up.
that?
So, oh crap.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a nice. That's a nice. So, do you still have your living room set up, or is this an addition to that?
This is in addition to the living room setup. So
Okay.
I can take you out to the living room. So the living room is really basic as well, but I am planning on upgrading it. So this is where I'm at now. So I have let's see, get it back. So I'm kind of crammed, and it's in a weird spot. As you can see, the wall over here to here. There's not much else I could do with this room. It's like a partial open concept. There's this weird pony wall here, and then let me spin back around. You can see it's just very odd design. So I have the iSense TV. I'm running the Monoprice B6 speakers. Running them also as the height above.
Wow, those things are huge up there.
Yep.
Right, they're huge. They actually do very well, and they measured out really well too. I have got the Govee backlighting on the TV, and
Oh,
then
how
I'm running
dare
the,
you! How dare you! Sacrilegious is what they say.
got the B6, here, and then the C6 center, and then the rears. Actually, compromised spot yet again because of the room design, so they're up height and angled down. They're actually, I still have loose wire hanging on the back. I didn't trim it up yet. And the reason being, I'll tell you when I'm done showing you the rest of this here. Planning to redo the room. So I have a Dayton Audio BSA 200, I believe is the model. So that is this right here. And that's running Aura Pro bass shaker. So I have 4 of those in the couch.
Oh, nice.
You get some of that tactile feel. And then I have 2 of the SB12s, the SBS subs. I've got one sitting on this side and then one hidden back on the other side of the couch there.
Nice.
So, what wall are you co-joined in your living room? To your neighbors.
That would be this wall over here. Sorry if I'm spinning
Okay.
too fast. I don't want to make anyone
Yes.
sick. So what I'm looking to do, and this is in the works of planning still, is I'm going to go with a screen, and I'm going to put a screen on this pony wall, and I'm going to bring it up to the roof. And I'm
Okay.
essentially going to make that a wall, and then run the left center, the left center and right here. And then I'm going to take this entire other room and flip the seating around, get rid of all the TV and all that stuff here, and basically set it up as like a true theater style.
There we
So
go.
right now, it's a
So
good
you gonna
spot to
frame
watch
that out,
movies.
or are you just going to do like a drop down screen? What's the plans with that?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm in a rental, so I do not own. So I have to think of creative ways to make things not quite so permanent. So
Yeah, I would just mount you a drop down screen, the width of that wall,
yep,
and
Have you
Or
guys
a
that
heard
floor
way
of
the
screen
only
would
thing
work
that you have
too.
to do is
a
fix
floor
some
would work
anchor
as well.
bolts up at the
Yeah,
top.
a floor screen that can raise up. That would be a good option too, right
That's true.
there.
Also,
I was
And then
thinking
you can
either
turn on and off. Yep.
fixed frame with just some anchors on the top and along the bottom, or a drop down. One of the two.
yeah.
Yeah. So who is it that makes the newest that they announced at CES? Or maybe I'm making that up. Where they had the near field projector or whatever that's like super bright.
The
Was it
ultra
I-
short throw.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was an
I
ultra-
think-
ultra
The UST.
short
So
throw.
Chana just came out. Technodad just came out with a new video. I forget what the technology is called, but Barco and Hisense are actually combining.
No, that one's different.
forces.
That the technology that they're talking about is true black. So
The black
basically, they're
level
like,
stuff.
yeah. So basically, they're almost
Yeah, they're
like,
shutting the lasers off.
yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that would.
Oh,
that
I
would
heard
be
about
cool.
that. Yeah, that would be
But no,
awesome.
there's a different one where it's supposed to be. I think it's an ultra short throw, but it's like way up there on the nits. Oh, is that Bob?
It's Bob. Yep.
Yeah.
And then we got the
oh,
Jurassic
man.
Park egg
That's funny. That is
and the Indiana Jones cup right there.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Yep, and you got
Where were you able
yeah,
to
the
find that cup?
Jurassic
That's pretty
Park
unique.
mosquito. That's cool.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. All right, so that's pretty much
That's
it. Yeah,
hilarious.
I have the 4700 in there and the Z2 in both rooms as well.
So, what's the
But I wanted
dimensions
to
of the
show you
bedroom?
guys a little bit on the projector because a lot of people are dropping a ton of money. If you're looking at like a budget build setup in something like a bedroom like this,
Mhm.
you don't have to spend a ton of money to get decent performance out of a screen. And you can see that's lights off, right? So that projector
Yeah, it
is only a
does look pretty.
$500 projector, and I actually had a couple of bank projectors here, and I was thinking about utilizing them, but the difference was so low that I kept the XGIMI Little Elephant up there. The bank is definitely a better projector, but as far as acceptable quality for a bedroom, this thing is more than fine, right? So, I mean, all in, I got $500 in the projector. If you were to buy the model price 5.1 setup, I got two of them. They were at sale at one time, I believe, for about $350 each. And then the receiver was free. So yeah, the rest is just cabling and accessories. So
You
I'd say-
definitely got the youth man go. What about your screen? What screen are you using
oh,
there?
that is the Silver Ticket STR Series 6 in a matte gray, and that's under $300 as well, and that's 120 inch.
120
Wow.
inch. Okay.
Yep.
That's cool.
And,
See, now you're making me want to do a bedroom setup. God
I
damn
know,
it.
right? I'm looking at it like,
Well,
man.
No,
I
I
mean,
ain't,
one
I
thing-
ain't
You
showing
think
my
about it,
bedroom.
like You know, the X2300, you know, one of the most expensive parts are going to be either the projector, are going to be the projector and the receiver, right? And speakers, you can find deals on them all over the place. So whether they're used or new, as long as you're patient and wait.
So what
Well,
is the
and then
But yeah,
bedroom dimensions like? 12 by 12, 12 by 15?
um, I believe this was 12 by 14.
Okay. So a decent
Yeah,
sized bedroom,
Mhm.
and is this
it's
a
been a
spare
while since I've
bedroom or
measured
is
it out.
this your everyday bedroom?
This is an everyday,
Okay.
so yep, it
Very
flips back and
nice.
forth. But
So
yeah,
just like John Anthony, your significant other gave you permission to put a whole theater in your bedroom.
well, no, that you
I don't
you
know
have
about
to
permission,
really
but
really explain that. It wasn't that
yes,
you had permission to do a theater. You had permission to do a theater in the bedroom.
Right.
right, right.
That's a pretty
But I
good.
mean,
That's a pretty
but I
good
mean, it's
man.
I fall asleep to TV every night, and I didn't have always done that. And to be able to just like put it on and kick back and like you don't have to like worry about kicking your neck to look at it, you know, like a 55-inch screen hanging in the corner. You just like it's always there. It's just this huge screen, and you know, it's great. I love it. I don't think I could ever
Yeah,
go
Yeah, it
back.
looks fantastic. I've been
it
wanting
looks
to set
great.
up. I actually have an extra screen, and I
Mhm.
have an extra projector.
Yeah,
So and my I
yeah.
have
I
a
mean,
what is it?
But
It's
how
a
do you
hundred.
Actually,
manage?
for
How do you
us, we
manage the
use the
brightness?
Is
How do
there
you
a
yeah.
manage the
screen
brightness?
on the ceiling? I want to see the ceiling. Is there a screen on the ceiling?
there is a
How
Those
little
many?
two
reflection
handsome
up there.
guys right there. Look
Oh,
at that
it's
No
power
white.
hook.
screen.
Okay, it's painted
There is
flat
some
white.
light. So yeah, I mean, I can get away with repainting some of the rooms, but you know,
Yeah, that picture
not a
quality
whole
looks
Oh,
really
lot.
that's
good.
amazing. Yeah, that
And
is
that's a
a.
Yeah,
1080p
I was
projector. Is
gonna.
that what that is?
It's a 4K in with 1080 out, but
Oh
there's
wow.
no, you know, it's just
It-
accepting 4K, which is nice because you know some of the streaming providers like Netflix, if you're not doing 4K, then you can't get like some of the Atmos features and stuff like that, or at least
What about
that's how it
is
used
it
to
is it
be.
a e shifter? Is it e shifting to 4K
No
or
E
no?
shift, no E
It's
shift. But I'm only
1080p,
at, you know, I'm at 120,
120. Yep, yep. And you
so I mean,
know,
Yeah,
I
and you're
do.
I was definitely the oddball whenever I was at one of the projector comparisons, and this probably wasn't even as good as a projector as
Yeah,
what you
don't
have
play
right
the
here.
audio just to avoid copyright.
I
Oh,
literally
yeah,
was
the
like, "Wow,
on it.
I'm surprised that the cheapest projector here is closer in resolution and when you paused it, you could tell like 1,000%. You'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I see the difference." But when a movie was playing, like actual action, I was like, "I'm surprised this $500
Oh,
projector
hang
is as
on.
close in comparison to the $5,000 and $20,000."
Yeah, I kind of showed it off to you guys one night on the Daily Hi-Fi After Show, but yeah, I mean,
that's a great picture, and that's
and
through.
you
Beautiful.
know, you think that you know I'm doing it on my cell phone, so that obviously is not accurate, but I mean, it's clean. It's
Yeah.
Damn, you're
you
making me
would
want to go
know that
set mine up in my bedroom now.
Don,
you would
I'm
know
yeah.
that I'm
we
running
gotta
a
finish the one in the theater first, Don.
Oh yeah, like right
uh,
No,
now,
but no. The thing
how
is,
this is.
I can have an instant theater in my bedroom in like 2 hours. I can mount
right,
the
right.
projector, and I have a 133-inch black diamond screen that I can put up there, and I can have that thing mounted. And I actually already put my Blu-ray player up there. So because I have one of the first Samsung 4K TVs that came out, and it has 3D still. So I actually use that sometimes to watch 3D, and
Oh
that's a
man,
great.
you got to, you got to
Oh,
show your
that's
Yeah,
sign.
that's a
You
really
got to
good
show
image
your
right there.
sign for Techno Dad,
yeah.
Yeah.
Don. You got to show him your sign.
Got to show him my sign. Oh,
And,
let
Yeah,
me show.
show
Let
him
me
the
show.
sign.
Oh.
Techno Dad's in the house. Let's see.
Yeah, he's got to see the sign. He's not allowed. You know, he got that just so he wouldn't have to drink, Chana. That's it. He's a lightweight. He's like, no, I can't say it, but I can flip up this screen or this sign every time I want to reference to it. And I'm like, oh man.
I'm gonna flip back off of here.
Man, that's
I'll
a
see you guys in a
killer
second.
system that you got there.
Okay.
Yeah,
really-
yeah. It's just.
I didn't see
here's
the
the lights
Lotus
on.
yet. You're gonna have to.
You didn't
I'm
see the
gonna have
Lotus?
to come out there so I can drive that thing.
There
I don't
you
even want
go.
to ride in it. I want to drive it. I seriously thought about getting one of those, man. It was back in the day. There was some pretty good deals on it. And they a lot of the Ohio.
What was it like?
has a lot of the high-end.
47 or I thought I
Yeah,
saw
they-
when they first came out, like 47 to 50,000, something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're like 47 when they first came out, and I ended up getting mine for 23.5. So
That's amazing price.
That's a hell of a
Mhm.
deal.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
one thing that we have to do that we kind of teased also, we also teased John Anthony's bedroom setup a while back. So we got to get you to actually finish your tour for the bedroom that you got. We teased the A-wall projector with a Lumigen setup.
So I think
Okay.
the reason I went with an ultra short throw is, I haven't got the gut to paint the back wall in my bedroom darker color yet. So so that's why the ultra short throw, you just, it's right there, so it's not too much of a reflection on it, instead of, but you are tempting me to paint that wall dark also in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Just go with the
Well,
bold
and
colors,
that's-
man.
That's the thing. Sure, if
that's the
you're
thing.
trying,
It
if you're
doesn't
trying
make the
to
room
do-
look smaller because it's light on the side. You know, it almost looks like you're looking through down towards
Yeah.
a tunnel, right? So
Yeah,
it didn't
yeah.
make the room feel like it was closing in. If I did all the walls or if I did the ceiling, that's when you start to feel the room shrink, I think,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Does it
possibility.
reflect off the ceiling? Absolutely. Is this a
Oh,
home
you can
theater?
see it clearly. Yeah, you
So
can see the
so
reflection.
it doesn't really matter,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
you're
having-
talking about if your room's 12 foot deep, or no, you said it was 12 foot wide by like what 15, so you're probably laying somewhere around 13 feet away from it from a
Yeah,
100.
I mean, I can.
Yep, it's immersive.
This
Yep.
this is right there that you're looking at now. That is
Yep.
about what I see when I'm laying down.
That's
It's
awesome.
perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I'm
height
dragging
too.
that screen upstairs tomorrow.
Yep. So
That's
for
awesome.
my own
That's
house, we
and
watched
and this monoprice speaker set, it rocks for the price. And I was like, whenever you see these little like cube setups with like an 8-inch little subwoofer, you're like, it'll sound better than a TV, but this actually sounds really good. Almost comparable to my living room setup with a slight less on like the low and accurate bass, but those are sealed sub versus ported as well. So, but yeah, I was shocked when I heard these.
Do you ever have issues with your neighbors, like banging on the wall or something like that from you playing your subs, or are you pretty respectful with it?
I asked my neighbor, like I cranked it up and it was shaking I actually had to put some like museum putty behind all the artwork over here because it was shaking on the walls and rattling. And that's the shared wall right there. And it was shaking the pictures. And I approached them like, could you hear? Like, is it loud? Am I annoying? They work from home. So I'm like, man, I would be going crazy. And they're like, no, I didn't even know you had anything on. And I was shocked. And then I'm like, have you ever heard anything? Because I've had it so loud that so we have a sliding door in our living room. I could hear it like halfway down the block. And she's like, no, I can't hear. So I think the way that these places were designed, we have to have like floating drywall or something and some extra separation between the place because
It could be like solid concrete or cinder block A lot of
Right,
places will
cinder.
do the cinder
Mhm.
block,
It
and
could have
that's
been, yep,
Firewall.
with
yep,
that, yeah, for
the
the fire.
firewall, and
But
then
that
yep,
really does, especially if they stagger it correct, and then they'll
yep,
do a
yep,
floating. They'll do like some one bys to float the drywall on it to make it look nice as opposed to cinder block. And yeah,
right.
that
Yeah.
does do a lot. But I'm surprised as far as the other stuff, the bass.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's just they might not be able to hear.
Right. Yeah.
So
Unless that
the,
wall's like $2 million, if it's vibrating the pictures on the wall, you could
yeah,
hear it
yeah.
on the other side.
That's
You
what
know,
I was like. I was like, there's no way you can't hear it. I'm like measuring it. I'm like, geez, I have my Omni mic out. I'm like, this should go clear through to the other place without a problem. The bass is low, but the living room. So I couldn't figure out for a while. Our cat, we have like a small closet downstairs, and that's where his litter box is in, right? And all of a sudden, our cat started crapping on the floor. And I'm like, what is going on? And it would only happen once in a while. It was like usually during movie nights. And then I kind of put it together, and I had to go clean it one day, and I was jamming some like Bob Marley upstairs, and I went down into his room, and his little closet is like the main resonant chamber of the entire house. It was
oh, that's
just
hilarious.
booming in there. I'm like,
You're like, oh, okay, yeah, I probably wouldn't do this in an earthquake
just
zone either.
loud. I'm like, this is a no. I would, if I was the cat, I'd probably do the same thing. I just totally ruined his like quiet spot.
Yeah,
I can't even take a
trying
poop
to.
in peace.
Yeah, I'm
Right?
trying to bake bread in peace right here. Like, come
Yeah.
on now. I'm
All right,
pinching
I'm gonna I'm
away.
gonna
Oh
hop off
man.
my phone. I'll connect back up with you guys in a second.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's a great setup there. I really enjoy that. Now I'm like, I got this 133-inch Black Diamond screen. It's one of the original Black Diamond screens. They actually like glued the screen to like a piece of board, so I couldn't even change the material if I wanted to, and then put the frame around it. I actually
That's an
inquired
SI
about.
screen, right, Don? It's an SI
I'm so
screen. Is
yeah
it an
yeah
SI?
yeah
Yeah.
yeah yeah. So I have that. So it'll be total light. I
Rejection.
guess
Yep.
rejection from all directions. And then I bought my first projector, which is a JVC 4K E-Shift projector.
Mm.
I think it's like the RS 5500. And shoot, I picked that up for less than, I think it was like around $400 or $500 used, and I bought the screen. Those screens were like $6,000 when I priced them brand new, and I bought that screen for like $750. That was going to be my original screen
Mm-hmm.
until I decided to knock down the wall and go full on blown on theater, which
You
I
sound like
still
you
regret to this
you
day,
sound like
because
you regret
if I
making
was
that decision.
if I would have popped some in walls in the walls and hooked that screen up, I'd have been watching movies for 2 years now. But it is what it is. We'll get there
Yeah, I
eventually.
mean, you know what I think once it's there, once you have it set up, I mean, especially, you will get credibility regardless, because you'll have a really, and that's the thing. Unfortunately, that's just how we are. We're all this way. It's like, oh, do you know what you're talking about? If you have this really nice, fancy setup, it's like, oh yeah, you got the Lindorf, you got this big, huge space, you got all these giant dual quad subs. Oh yeah, you must really know audio, even though you may not know anything about audio. So there is, and that's just how we are. It's like,
I know how to call
I
somebody to
would
put
be
it
that way. It's
together
like,
for me.
what do you know about audio? What do you got? Oh, I got this Bluetooth speaker.
A Sono.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to schedule John Anthony to give us
Yeah,
a
it's
tour of his
I
bedroom.
can
Oh,
tell you
man.
a bedroom setup is very useful. I use the bedroom setup about 70% of the time, and my actual theater about 30% of the time, because it's just so much easier. Even the kids that come in, though, it's easy for them to
Oh,
turn
yeah.
it on and just lie around and watch a movie. It's just the convenience of it instead of everyone get into the theater room and get the popcorn going and all of that. It's great. It's once in a while, but when it's your daily driver, it's kind of like having a sport car pretty much. You don't want to be driving your Lamborghini every single day to work. You
I mean,
it's
I
it's
would.
better. Sure.
I mean, if you're a pimp, you want to. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you can if
If
you
I
want
got a
to.
Lamborghini, I'm going to use it. Yeah.
But it's easy to drive a Honda to work every single day and pull out your Lamborghini on the weekends.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
true.
kind of like that. Yep.
You drive your Lamborghini every day if Bugatti's your sports car.
Sure.
I mean that's how that works. But yeah, if Lamborghini's your highest end, you're probably driving your Toyota or Lexus or
It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
Mercedes.
So,
Yeah.
so
drove my
Paul, I
Lotus
need you
the
to
other
share
day.
the link to your barcade because Ike has been too busy to post it. So I'm going to go ahead and post
you know,
it to
I
my
promise
channel.
you, I'll put it up tomorrow. I give you my word. on
No,
that.
you know what? I don't even try. Ike is good at operating the software that he goes against the grain and figures out. But yeah, I'll.
No, I'm just giving Ike a hard time. Yeah,
I
we're going to
know.
get that up for you guys so that I know Paul did a little tour last week with Youth Man for his barcade, and but we're going to get that posted on
You could
both
share
of our
that right
channels for
now.
you guys.
That way people can yawn and fall asleep to all the rainbow colors.
I don't know that
So
it'll play. I don't know. Yeah,
it
I don't know that
would. It
it'll play
plays,
over. Yeah, I
and
know it
I've
would,
got.
especially with
Um,
YouTube acting up a little bit earlier. So
oh yeah, that's true. It was, and I don't know why it does that for your guys' channel. I wonder if they're like restricting your bandwidth because you don't have 1 million subscribers.
It's
it
possible.
could be,
Sometimes they
could
drop.
be, but
We're not
we
YouTube's
what we need
priority.
is for everybody to go ahead and hit that, smash that like button, all that YouTube funny stuff, right? Smash the like button. Make sure you comment. Make sure that you subscribe to our channels, to not only our channels, Horizon Home Theater and Easy HT Tech. Make sure you go ahead and go over to Scott's channel. Show him some love. Show him some support for that lovely theater that he's got, bedroom theater that he's got going on. And I can't wait to see the progress of the new build that you plan on doing. Because you're going to have to get creative there with being, since you don't own the dwelling, you can't just throw up some 2x4s and close off that wall. I guess you could make it removable if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think
You know,
that's kind of the plan. I'll probably frame it out with some 2x4s to reinforce it. I'll probably use a fixed frame, just because I don't really see the point of investing in a drop down and paying that extra money for the drop down if I'm just gonna have to rip it out when we get a permanent place out here.
yeah,
So yeah, that's
yeah.
probably what
Just
I'll
make
do.
it a friction fit, and you'll be fine. A tight friction fit between that half wall and the.
I can put screws into the ceiling, and I can put as long as that's not like a permanent, completely permanent frame. So I can reinforce. I could probably do some trimming to mount something to the frame, and then go to the ceiling and to that pony wall. I've already put a few screws through that pony wall, so I'm pushing the
Okay.
limits. When they walk in and doing an inspection, they'll be like, "Dude, what are you doing?"
What did you do?
I'm curious. I'm curious what they're going to say about the height speakers already.
He's like, look,
Yeah,
just sit
whatever.
down and watch the movie. You're
I'm
fine.
like, yeah, just you want some popcorn? Like,
A
whatever,
little
some
bit of
soda drink.
drywall, and
Right.
learn how to do a little mudding, and no
I'm
one
like,
will
just
ever know a hole that you put in.
charge me when I move out. I'm cool with
Mhm.
that. I know what
Yeah,
I
there
did.
you go.
Exactly.
I know what I did.
Yeah.
But I shared a
Well, look,
screen because I forgot to mention that behind that I don't know if you see it on there, Ike, but behind my movie theater screen, there's actually a window. And so I had to block the light on that window and cover it up. But you can see it
okay.
in progress. So what I ended up doing is I used some IKEA makes these paper they're paper shades. and they have a double-sided tape, and you can stick it on the top side of the window and pull it down to the bottom, and you stick it on the bottom side. So I did 2 layers of white because we're in an HOA controlled area, and we're not allowed
Right.
to have anything that reflects a different color besides white out our window. And then over the white, I have black ones. So it actually came out
Yeah,
pretty well.
I'm looking at that, doing that static thing that Michael and John Anthony did. The one that I bought, it actually shows white on one side, but it also on the back side it's black. So it's
Yep.
kind of like the static clean stuff. But yeah, that's a good idea though to do the
And I was
do the
I
double
was
shades.
worried about the sun hitting the back of that screen all the time. I didn't know how much it would deteriorate it. California sun, it beats down pretty hard, and I was just worried that it would either yellow it out or just dry rot that screen after a while.
Right. Well, look, we definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing your theater, your bedroom theater. So, you took as you mentioned, a budget theater and turned it into something really nice. I mean, you got all of us wanting to go ahead and start a bedroom theater now. So we
it's
already
kinda
knew
like
that Paul was a follower early, once at the beginning of the show. Once we saw him, so we knew he was going to fall
I
in line and
forgot
follow whatever.
who was your guest that was on besides your that's on your Scottio. Who was
Who's my
the guest
guest?
name? I forgot.
Oh,
Who did we get the
I
character?
don't remember what we called them. I would have to rewatch it. Did I even announce what the character was? I don't think I did.
I don't.
You just said I think you have a twin or a brother.
Yeah, I think I have a twin. Yeah, a brother. Yeah, I don't know.
That's what.
Okay,
That's what you said.
let me
come up with the official name.
Let me show you my my fun shtick that would be on your channel if we
All right.
ever collab. All right, hold on.
Let's do it.
Drum roll, please.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. That's the thumbnail, Ike, right there.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yep, this is it right here, man. I used to sport this all the time, and it's great for the winter.
That's awesome.
So, Scotty-O, where are you?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you breaking? What are you hacking?
We're gonna have to maybe do a collab at M Wave, right? We'll just get all crazy.
Yeah,
Ooh,
we're gonna have to
some
do
weird
that.
film.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm mental and horny. Always.
I could see Youth Man going, oh no, if he's watching this.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to just go in as a club.
He just refunded your money for your tickets.
He's like,
Yeah.
like
my tickets. My ticket doesn't work. I don't like. Oh, like wait a minute. Did
I don't see my name badge. Yeah, that's because you don't have one.
It'll be like when you have your picture, you see the picture permanent bans at like the grocery stores and stuff like that. If you see this person, they're not allowed in here.
Oh yeah, we should do that. Even at the some of the booths, it would be fun. Get creative. That would be a great time.
Definitely. That's Ike, we're gonna have to do a live show from there. You know that, right? Because it starts on a Thursday night, I think.
Yeah.
We'll
do that. I think,
well, Thursday night, isn't that the private tours, though? That's not actually, the Bartle Hall's not open then yet, though.
Oh, so it's not until, because I thought they opened, oh no, they open late Friday. But we'll still have to do a Thursday night show from somewhere there, right?
Yeah, well, you might have to be
maybe we do it from Paul's house.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll do it from Paul's house.
I've already invited myself.
Live from the barcade.
So that means everyone's going to be playing arcade.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, I already got a room in Paul's house. I'm not even worried.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
even
we'll
get the
see me
invite.
there.
I
So
don't know. I don't know if anyone's taken that room yet. I know Don, he likes to be closer to Michael. He likes to, wake up in the morning and have a cup of coffee with the main co-host. So he's gonna
No,
try to
no,
stay
no coffee
downtown.
for me. Last
Yeah.
year, Chuck and I stayed in the same place, so we actually met for breakfast, and we actually sat down with Chris Seymour at breakfast one of the days, which was a nice treat.
Yeah, that's
Talk
cool.
to him talk to him about his screens and stuff. I can't wait for M Wave. I actually purchased some of the theater tours. I'm going to be taking some footage of that, putting out obviously with permission from whomever we visit. I'll be taking some footage of their theaters and just my experience.
Yep.
So last year
And
I
one of
went.
them you're going to, and yeah, man, you'll love the 5 Hertz there.
Hey
For
man,
sure. It's good.
I
It's a
got
good
I got
experience. It really is a
Jonathan's.
fun one.
I can't remember the other two, but yeah, I think I'm gonna try to come in on Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest. So we'll definitely get together, you know, um,
yeah,
and
it's a
have a
six
good
hours
time.
drive for me, so I'll probably come in Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we got to do we'll have to do our show from there, live from M Wave. Maybe we can get special permission to walk around and do our show, with them
Yeah,
setting up and stuff like that.
yep.
So,
Special permissions, or they're gonna have to beat me up. I mean, it's just one of the two.
Well, Ike, will you have because you last year you did press pass
Yeah, I
type
have
of
yeah.
thing as well.
I I
So
I
I think
should
Don, you
have a
were
press
late,
pass.
so you didn't
Yeah, I flew
sign up.
in.
You didn't know if you were going to be able to make it, so
Right, exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
sure.
So, but I've already purchased my theater experiences and stuff like that. So I'll be making I may make it a full vacation because not too far down the road is like Legoland and stuff like that. So I think about taking my wife and kids
I
to
was actually
and
thinking of
mother-in-law.
that too. So let's talk. I was thinking of doing that too. So
Yep.
Yeah,
that
because
might be a
they
good
do have some
possibility.
attractions at Kansas City other than the Kansas City Royals and the uh, the Kansas City Chiefs, right? So,
Yep.
but yeah,
I'll
there's
have to put together. I don't have kids, so but I can
right.
put together. I'll reach out to some of my other brethrens and see what the main entertainment that they should take people to, because I'm sure there's a
I know
lot.
there's like I think there's like an amusement park not too far, also like an hour
Well,
out or something like that.
well, there's the zoo. There's World of Fun is here. Schlitterbahn's no longer a thing because they decapitated someone. Um,
That was the
Oh,
nice way to
I
end that.
saw that one. I saw the YouTube stuff on that. Like,
hey, you know
the
what? I
water
just
slide,
keep it
right?
real.
Water slide?
They had the most amazing, like, lazy rivers because they were kind of like more rapid and fun and stuff like that. But they made this like
Okay.
amazing, like 14, 15-story water slide that they did not, basically, summary paraphrasing. They didn't send it through actual engineering. It was just like, yeah. And somebody got launched off of it and they had this little cage thing, and it basically a younger kid hit it, and it was a horrific accident. And the sad part about it is, and the part that upsets me the most, the only reason that even became a thing, if it was any of us and it was our kid that had that happen, nobody would have knew about it. It was actually one of the senators here that it was his kid. That's why it became a thing. So, oh
That
man,
face mask is hideous.
it is
Good stuff.
amazing. Oh my
Oh.
gosh. Okay. Yeah, we got a whole crew now. I want to know what Ike's gonna come as at this point. Ike's like, no,
This
no.
is a type of fun I want to have on this show right here. So thank you guys for bringing this entertainment.
Yeah, that's
You know,
amazing.
it's we definitely need to. There we go. The fact that you had that so close by, Scott, has me worried.
No, it's in the bedroom.
There's
He's
another
in his
one.
bed. I
too.
mean,
This one's,
no, he's in his
look
studio,
at that.
so it's okay.
Oh, he's got the Austin Powers going now.
There we go.
Oh yeah, I love it. All right, I'm gonna have to.
All right. On that note, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end this show.
Later.
Hey,
Thanks
if
for
you'd like to
having
be
me
a
on. It's
guest
been fun.
and have fun with us and joke around about audio, please reach out to the
He never
Home Theater
remembers
Hub
that email.
Live. Hey, I always forget this darn thing. That's why I asked you to put the banner up.
Home Theater
So
Hub Live
Ike's
at
got
Gmail.
Ike's got the controls over there.
It's
So
live
reach
on
out to us, send us an email. We'd love to have you as a guest. What we'll do is we introduce you by doing your theater tour, and then, you know, you're more than welcome to join after that as a regular guest. Paul, Scott, John Anthony, definitely appreciate you guys. If you haven't subscribed to our channels, please make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button. And we'll see you in the next video next Thursday. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, guys.